As Dieter Bastian just said, we're on time, but not on budget.
You are here because I need somebody to trust. I ain't forgot the time you helped me out in the past. Though maybe you didn't know it was me you was helping exactly. Nobody inside the outfit can be trusted with this. I need somebody from the outside.
I'm not following you, Al.
When I heard what Frank's planning, I said word to him. You can't do this, Frank, I said. You gotta find a better way, Frank. And you know what he says? It's through that lawyer he is. You're inside, Al, and I'm out of here handling things now. That's what he says. You know what Frank's planning?
No,
Guess.
I can't.
No, really. Take a shot. Guess.
Gang war? He hit Newberry already.
Yeah, you can kill somebody time to time if you don't do it on no big scale or make a habit out of it. But there's some people you just can't hit.
Such as?
Such as the mayor of a big city.
What?
Cermak. Frank's gonna hit Cermak.
You're shitting me.
I shit you not. What did I pay a grand to come down on the Dixie Flyer to tell you my life story?
I saw Nitty in the hospital. He hates Cermak, all right. I guess it's possible he tries something like that, but it seems...
Crazy? Not just crazy, Ella. Suicide. You are here because...
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your pharaoh of physical media, Robert Meyer Burnett. And, there could be a case that was made to us to not do this show today. But I figured that we should do this show because life is a continuum. And with all good things, you take the bad, and you must persevere, and you must survive. And if there's one thing that I can do for our state, for our world today, for our state of affairs, it's to provide you with the man that everybody loves. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. It doesn't matter what your religious affiliation is, what your sexuality is. It doesn't even matter whether you like good B movies or bad B movies. This man will always put a smile on your face all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. Dieter Bastian, Dieter. Make the world happy today.
I will try to do that, even if it's more with a heavy heart today, that I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, Dieter here I am, coming to you with more like a wind of change, perhaps this evening. And I'm glad to say, greetings here to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media. And Rob, before we always start the show, we get together in our meeting room, I would say. And of course, it's normally the superficial stuff. How are you doing? Good to see you. But this evening, it's really more coming to you with a more serious tone. Good to see you. And can you give us a little on update here from LA?
Well, first of all, I think it's hard. It's one thing. It's really interesting. My grandmother used to comment that my grandfather and I were collectors of things, and she didn't really understand that. She said, isn't it more important to have experiences? And my grandfather collected coins and stamps, and I collected physical media and soundtracks. My grandmother actually was the first person who started buying me soundtrack albums. And I tried to explain to her, I said, for me, all of this stuff that I collect is inspiration that pushes my own interest in creating my own work further. And doing shows like this and meeting you, we've been doing this for 4 years. And since the time I've known you, I've worked on, of course, Tango Shalom. I've worked on White Devils. I've worked on how many thousands of shows. And, I've been collecting physical media for 43 years now, 45 years. This will be 45 years. And, it's always been an inspiration to me. And what's happened, people have lost here. The devastation in Los Angeles is enormous. And in one of the areas, Altadena, we used to live below it. Elizabeth and I lived below it for 7 years. And we would just drive up the hill. And many of the businesses that we frequented, which were mom and pop businesses, are gone. And my uncle, I said yesterday on my show, my uncle lived in the Palisades on Amalfi and Sunset and lived there for many, many years. He raised 4 children, and And all of that is gone. And I talked to my cousin Diane, who grew up in the Palisades. That was her hometown. And it wasn't the Palisades that it is now. I mean, she's a year older than me. So she goes back almost 6 decades. And obviously, there's a lot of multi-generational families that have lost everything. And as far as we're concerned, Los Angeles is the epicenter and the beginning, really, of physical media. And one of the things that I can only imagine is how many artifacts and how many priceless. There was some jazz archive somewhere that had jazz music written, the original handwritten musical notes. What is it called when you write music? I mean, books, but so many things have been lost, and so many people who live in LA, they had collections of their entire work. I mean, everything that I've ever worked on exists on physical media. All the Star Trek documentaries I made, my own films, everything from Usual Suspects to Valley Girl, and they only exist on physical media. And I can only think of how many people, part of everything that they've lost, a lot of people lost their work. That represents how many hundreds, if not thousands of hours of time they put in to create entertainment. And, I mean, yeah, it can be got again, sure. But there's a lot of things that, memories, pictures, photos, people have lost, irreplaceable. I mean, it doesn't, the people are mostly still here. So the city's never going to be the same.
No,
after this.
Definitely not.
So my heart goes out to everybody. But that said, I think it was important to continue to do this show because, tragedies happen every day, and we live in a continuum. That's the dichotomy and the beauty of human life. One day, a terrible tragedy can befall all of us, whether it's a natural occurrence or it's man-made, but then the next day we have to persevere and go on. So, hence I'm bringing you to the masses, Dieter, so it's up to you.
Okay.
You to bring everybody a smile.
Even Rob, our Nathan Heller, Mike Rosenbaum, has been evacuated. I saw on Instagram. So, speaking a little bit of True Noir, Rob, how is it going? Could it have done at least some work?
True. Well, it's interesting. I might be delayed a week with episode 5 dropping. I had a sound mix that I was supposed to go to on Saturday that got canceled. We had sporadic power in my studio, but episode 4 dropped on Friday. Episode chapter 4, 2 new clients that stars Anthony LaPaglia as Al Capone, Jesse Spencer as Elliot Ness, and Chris Carr. Chris Carr makes her appearance in the episode. So it's very exciting. And she's great. She plays Marianne Beam. And in the episode, Nathan Heller gets hired by 2 different people to look into 2 different things. And it really kicks the story off. We might have to delay a week. Maybe not. But, we still got the history behind the mysteries coming out. Yeah. Those are all completed. I'm, of course, still editing the episodes. It's a big job. But, moving forward, I can't complain.
Yeah. So the question is, Rob, was there actually anything happening on the box office this week?
Yeah. Boy, Joshua Jackson lost his house. It's just, it's amazing to see how many people, lost their homes.
It's insane.
Yeah. Kamala Harris's house in Brentwood, somebody tried to rip it off. It's just, typical. Anyway.
Where you actually made aware how insane or how violent the fire is? Or when did it actually start?
I believe it started Tuesday night. Yeah. And it was I was watching it, unfold, the whole thing unfold, and the winds. I've lived here for 36 years.
That was the biggest factor.
The winds were insane. And what people don't understand, first of all, you can't, in those kinds of winds, you can't fly. So there was no air support. And also, if you saw, even when you're hosing something down, when 100-mile-an-hour winds are happening, basically it shatters. The wind just blows the water apart. So it basically turns to mist. So it was incredibly difficult to fight to fight those fires.
Exactly.
And those fires are still burning.
That many fronts, insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Not possible.
Yeah. And it was, and there's a lot of, one of the things that people don't understand is, and it's something to, the blame game, everyone's blaming everyone, and that's going to go on, and there's some merit in that. But you have to look at the way Los Angeles works is we have very distinct seasons here, not distinct like with snows. But in last year, we had a torrential wet season, which happens in November through February. And what happens is we have incredible explosive undergrowth of everything. You see hills that are normally coppery brown dirt, and they explode with green. And then we had the hottest summer on record. So all of that undergrowth dries out and basically turns into tinder. And then we wait for the Santa Ana winds to blow, which are hot winds that come off the desert, which is what was happening. And then there's usually rain. There has been no rain. So all of that very hot undergrowth ignited, and with those winds, basically it would be like you're igniting the ground and just the winds are blowing a wall of flame, a wall of burning embers across. And and it happened so fast that by the time even first responders got into position, there was little they could do. And they had no air support. And, a lot of the, like the pressure in the hydrants, our fire system is not built to fight every single, I'm going to show you a picture.
Yeah.
Let's see, what did I do with that? This is a picture that was taken from the air at one point. I think it's a satellite picture. Everything on it is a huge structure burning. So this is what the city looked like. Now, I read a statistic. The big Chicago fire was like 4 square miles. The big San Francisco fire was like 3 square miles. This is something like a total of 30 square miles burning at once. Now, when you look at something like this, another thing that should be remembered is that the hydrant system is built to fight 1 or 2, 3 structural fires.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no prep when every single, and you need power to fight. And what ends up happening is like our power was offline for 3 days. We live in a red flag zone. I took pictures in September. There was a huge forest fire, a brush fire out here that was burning up the mountain, and I took some video from the Smoky. So we're in that zone. They just shut off our power because we have a lot of above ground power lines. And so they just shut it off. I had no internet or no power for 3 days. So we were going to the library, which did. Other parts of where we live on the flatlands had power, so we could go to our beautiful library. But yeah, it was brutal. And it's still going on now. It's still going on now.
Going on, yeah.
So now let me first of all, LIONSGATE, which we're going to talk about later today. LIONSGATE had a big box office win this weekend.
Oh,
with
nice.
With a franchise of their own, Gerard Butler and the Den of Thieves. And this has to be the greatest movie in terms of you and what your particular interests are, because Den of Thieves 2 is called Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. So there you go.
Just on a side note, Rob, both Den of Thieves movies were shortened here in Germany when they got released, about 15 minutes, and the second one too, Rob.
What?
But later on Blu-ray, you got both versions, Even the Blu-ray from the first movie contained 3 versions. The German shorter one, the normal one, and there was an US extended cut even. So the Blu-ray featured 3 versions of the movie. But those movies are actually shortened here, Rob, for the theoretical.
Do you know why?
Because some people think they are just too long, perhaps a little bit,
What's with you Germans, man?
At some scenes, yeah,
always a problem.
I'm not the distributor, Rob. Someone said,
if you're not starting world wars, you're editing movies. What the hell?
That's
What
what we
kind of country are you?
Censorship. Censorship is the name of the game.
At least you have very
Also.
strict. The specs on physical media are very strict in terms of what you have to deliver. So that's always a good thing. You might
Just
get
on the side, don't drop. Just on the side.
you might get edited films, but the quality is usually pretty good.
Okay.
So it's a trade-off. So our friend Anthony D'Alessandro from Deadline says Lionsgate can relish a #1 win in Den of Thieves 2 Pantera this weekend, which is now on its way to $15.5 million, which is $300,000 more than the start of the 2018 original. Let's hear it for Great Dating. The studio, known for counter-programming, found a great release date on the schedule and maximized it. The results here are better than 3 Day of Gerard Butler's last movie with Lionsgate, 2023's Plane, which was also pretty good. It's interesting to note that the LA market, which is still under siege from the wildfires, still turned out a solid 8% of the nation's business, which is part with its 52-week norm of 7.9%. Los Angeles generated 10.4% of the box office for Den of Thieves 2, which is more than the market did for the opening weekend of the original Den of Thieves. Note the LA market in box office speak goes as far north as Santa Barbara, includes the OC, and as far east as San Bernardino, if you're a Depeche Mode fan. The sequel also gets a B+ cinema score, like the original, with post-track exits at solid 4 stars and a diverse turnout with 31% Caucasian, 31% Latino and Hispanic, very good 25% Black, and 6% Asian. And let me just point out that shout out to 50 Cent, because 50, he died in the first movie, but he's a producer on Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, and he was on social media promoting the film. So
nice.
He's an incredible businessman. Shout out to 50 Cent. I say 50 in respect. So let's see. Let's see what else I can tell you about the box office. So here we go.
And I think the first one had a good reception, so there's a little bit of a fan base there.
Yeah. Mufasa took in another $13 million. It is now at $188.5 million in week 4. Sonic the Hedgehog took in $9.2 million. It's now at $202.7 million. This is domestic. Nosferatu took in $6.8 million, $81.8 million. What a great result for Robert Eggers. And by the way, I am going to see it today. Moana 2. So I don't have to keep copping to the fact that I watched some of it on a screener and turned it off. Moana 2 grossed $4.8 million, and it's made $433.1 million in week 7. So those are the top 5, and that's what the box office is reporting now.
Nice.
So there you go.
Good for Lionsgate.
And I did get a very funny letter.
Okay.
That last week we were talking about some of the things that were coming out, and one of the things that I was discussing was Brett Leonard's Feed, the Australian detective thriller Feed, and how disturbing it was, just because lurid doesn't cut it. I mean, if there's a word, and I did get a great letter. I think you pronounce his name. His name Chris Linsky. Wrote in and said, "Hi, Rob. Your special kind of crazy has kept me listening since 2018. Having heard stories about your past, I feel that we park our shuttlecraft in the same shuttle bay, albeit on different coasts. I'm reaching out to you today on January 5th in response to your commentary on the movie Feed. As a frequent renter of films, I had many close relationships with the mom-and-pop video store owners in upstate New York. One day, Gary, local video store owner, asked me to visit. Gary explained that he'd rented a particular video 5 times, and each of the customers returned with the same comment. That video was disturbing. Gary said that after hearing those reviews that he thought of me. Gary gave me the DVD of Feed and asked me to keep it because he didn't think anyone else would rent the film. That night, I binged Feed, Ravenous, Blood-Sucking Freaks, and May with my 15-year-old niece.
What a triple feature.
During that during that night's Filmapalooza, niece Christina and I snacked on the packaged dried meat jerky that I had distributed to the contest winner attendees of the Ravenous premiere in Albany, New York, a few years earlier. Dried meat jerky. Thanks to Dieter and yourself for featuring the often forgotten films of the past. Regards, Chris, your maniac magnet. Well, Chris,
thanks, Chris.
We're happy to have you as a maniac magnet. Thank you for the letter. And yeah, that feed disc looks pretty damn good. So I'm glad.
I pre-ordered it, Rob, after you made that kind of a promotion for it, for the anti-Hunger Games movie.
Or you could say that it is a certain kind of Hunger Game. Because they're certainly playing one on the internet with the poor women. But you'll see.
I need to check if perhaps the movie had a different title here, but I can't remember.
I would think Feed would be the total German title of it, with your friends that always need.
It probably, I have not seen it. I can't remember. I would remember. Such a movie seems to be totally something you would remember. But I pre-ordered it.
Good man.
So let me just see, where do you have it? Auch bekannt als Germany. Oh, it's called Feed, actually, Rob. But the subtitle is Eat or Die. Eat and Die. Eat and Die. Eat and Die.
Wow. Just in case you didn't get it.
Friss und stirb. Is the sub.
All right.
They added German title. Okay. Rob, physical media. Who starts?
Well, you want to start?
Okay. First one, which was on Cody's best of the year list. I finally got it too. The Stir of Echoes LIONSGATE Steelbook, which comes with the particular.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Dieter.
Yeah. Oh, look at you, Rob.
Ooh.
Look at you.
I haven't popped mine open yet. I thought this would be sold out, but it is not.
No.
Some people were complaining
really nice
about this cover, but I thought I kind of like it.
Yeah. It's shiny, Rob. At least it's shiny.
It's shiny. No, I mean, I appreciate. I think this is cool. A lot of people don't like it, but all right, it's cool.
Cody showed it, and we've got Samara here, or Samantha in the back of the steelbook. So there is some idea woven into the steelbook, certainly, and it's still a good movie. But come on, Cody, better than Sixth Sense. It's preposterous, unbelievable. Stir of Echoes. The next one was on your and Cody's best of list. I'm a little late to the party, but I got mine. Watched it yesterday.
Oh, how great is the picture quality?
Rob, it is that kind of movie that totally sucks me in, that I'm actually not really taking the picture quality in, even because I haven't seen the movie in a long time. So I was more into the movie than actually watching how the picture quality is, because the movie is such a cool thrill ride. And we got, of course, the Blu-ray and the 4K.
Great new special features, too.
Booklet. Haven't dived into them. Need to do that. And it was such a long time that I have not seen the movie. And I still think, even if Paul from Trimflix said a little bit different, I think still the Blu-ray is great. Even if it's from 2008, it still looks good. It was one of the great discs at the beginning or the start of the format. And I think still the old Blu-ray, even if this one is, of course, the one you should go for, is still a great looking disc. And it had, Rob, back in the day when Blu-ray started, uncompressed PCM sound. The next one I did miss out on the slipcover. It came in a strange cellophane package. I got the 4K from Screen Factory for Silent Night, Deadly Night, which actually is a 3-disc set. It's a radical version in 4K, and then on Blu-ray and the unrated version. But as far as I know, the unrated stuff are just standard definition inserts, unfortunately. So only this radical version here is in 4K. Silent Night, Deadly Night. The next one, didn't get around to it. Really looking forward. Of course, the third one from Screen Factory, Riddick, which comes with, of course, it's a 3-disc set 2, but it has the unrated, or is it? Yes, unrated, and the theatrical version on as 4K, and both on Blu-ray. I don't know if there's new special features. I don't think so, but it says there are transfers are supervised from David Towie. Riddick, the third one, where they did scaled it a little bit back after the epic Chronicles of Riddick. The next one Rob showed already, but I got it too. I got it too from Neil Marshall. Doomsday in 4K.
Boy, I have a real soft spot for that movie.
Yeah.
The greatest John Carpenter homage ever made.
Yeah. Haven't seen it in forever, and this one comes with 3-disc too, but here the unrated is only on Blu-ray, and the theatrical cut is the only version in 4K here. Doomsday. And last one of the first little bit of my haul is a Japanese movie, Rob. I think I stumbled across it when I browsed for the Deadpool 3D disc in Japan. And I stumbled across the cover, did some digging, and I bought it. The Japanese title is Doku Musume, and the English title is Toxic Daughter. And I really had a nice time with it. It is a slow burn.
I love that you had a nice time with the Toxic Daughter.
Yeah, Toxic Daughter. But
I did a lot of that in high school with other people's daughters. It
is always interesting that you want to know what is going on, what will happening next. And it is about a family in a new home and a stepmom, but a really nice stepmom, and her daughter really getting along. But there is a neighbor's daughter who's not too thrilled about new residents in her old home. And of course, some shenanigans ensues. And you can guess, Rob, it ends a little bit bloody. You know, we love our Japanese movie that way. So it comes with nice booklet. Luckily, pictures, Rob, for the actors in the movie. So these are the two
That
main.
looks promising. Does she come out of a TV set?
Not really, Rob. Not really. So Doku Musume, Toxic Daughter. And not only that, we have some postcards which features the characters or the four main characters. I always love the Japanese releases. They always put some extra stuff in their releases.
They do.
Doku Musume, Rob, Toxic Daughter. Recommendation from me. Good movie.
Sure.
Good movie.
All right.
First haul for me.
Well, I know everybody wants to get to the good stuff, but I'm going to start with Kino Lorber. I got a box from Kino Lorber that has two things in it I really appreciated, and I'll tell you why. Started out with an Errol Morris documentary called Separated. I have to say, I want to thank Kino Lorber for keeping... I mean, look, can I complain that these are only DVDs? Sure. But what I really love is that Kino Lorber has a really great commitment to releasing documentaries. And they're all really interesting. And then they released another one called To Die For. And I would imagine this is about pollution in our food. After discovering their child's life-altering sensitivity to synthetic dyes, parents and first-time filmmakers set out to uncover the impacts of these additives. They journey to meet with the world's leading synthetic dye experts, conducting in-person interviews with scientists, researchers, and impacted families. I'm in. Bring it on. Love all of that. And then, as Kino Lorber is wont to do, it's great because I think they've taken a page from George Feltenstein's book over at Warner Brothers. Here's a Sandra Dee movie, Bobby Darin and Donald O'Connor in That Funny Feeling with that classic artwork. Clark Gable and Doris Day in Teacher's Pet with Gig Young and Mamie Van Doren. And then Cary Grant and Sophia Loren. I mean, what a cast in Houseboat. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm learning more about classic cinema, and between Radiance's releases, we're getting great stuff. And then, of course, my name is Alfred Hitchcock. And then another, this documentary is dope. If you like jazz and you haven't seen this, Chet Baker, Let's Get Lost on Blu-ray, fantastic. And the soundtrack to A Coup d'Etat, another great documentary, which is fantastic. I mean, and here's the thing. Kino Lorber, they don't get enough credit. I mean, they're releasing like music-themed documentaries together. They're releasing a certain kind of classical music in bundles, or classical movie in bundles together. And then, of course, Rock Hudson and Burl Ives and Jenna Rollins in The Spiral Road. So classic movies and music documentaries are fantastic, but I think my favorite, they also sent me the Monk TV movie, which I guess that completes my Monk collection, Mr. Monk's Last Case, which I haven't opened yet. But my favorite releases that came in from Kino Lorber this week, I got to tell you, Steve DeJarnett, who went to my college, the Evergreen State College, 2 of his movies, Cherry 2000 and Miracle Mile.
Oh,
these are Blu-rays. Now, they've been released before, but these have brand new commentaries that were recorded at Private Island Audio, where I have done all my work on True Noir. These have new, some new documentaries and material. They also have
the cover of Miracle Mile.
I love this cover. They made this cover, I'm sure. And then Cherry 2000. Why don't we open one? And I'll bet you that this Miracle Mile has
Rob,
a
question.
Yeah.
Miracle Mile, is that still standing?
Oh, you mean Johnny's? Yes. Johnny's is on the corner of Fairfax and La Brea. Pardon me, Fairfax and Wilshire. And it is still there. Okay. So let's see. We got our Miracle Mile. And let's see. I could be wrong. I've gone out. Oh, I'm not wrong. Because I always kind of like this.
Switch.
I'm going to make the switch. Boy, do I love this. So, of course, they have the actual one sheet, Anthony Edwards and Mare Winningham, which they did. So they had, it's funny, Steve DeJarnett also gave posters to Mike McDonald, my audio engineer, for the film, which he gave one to me. So pretty cool. So you got the Miracle Mile disc. And by the way, if you have never seen this movie, I would recommend watching this film and go in as cold as you can.
Yeah. And
all you need to know about this film is it's a heartwarming meet cute. It's just like When Harry Met Sally. And it's one of those late night, it's like LA After Hours. That's all you need to know. If you've never seen the film,
don't pick up a phone, Rob.
And
just
if you
saying, don't pick up a phone.
And if you have seen the film, shut the fuck up. Don't tell anybody. Don't put anything in the chat, you killjoys, you destroyer of love. Don't say anything. And then let's crack open the Cherry 2000 and see if it has a reversible cover. Now, I mean, Kino, man, I'm really happy that the Mexican cartel that they're in business with that allows them to put out all these amazing releases. Their money laundering operation seems to be going great. Now, when we say that, we say it with love and we're kidding. Or are we? No, I love Kino. They're the greatest. And let's crack this open and see if this is great artwork, by the way. Oh, yes, it does. It has reversible sleeve.
Nice.
and Steve DeJarnett did participate in this release. So, of course, when you have a reversible cover, you have to include it so you can have both, as we all know,
Nice.
on this show. So, you go, Kino Lorber. You go. And that'll be my first bit of love that we're gonna
That you shared with us.
that we shared.
We have some super chat. I don't think many, but
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we do. No, we got a few things. 200 Watt Studio sends in a super chat and says, "Hope that you and Elizabeth are doing okay." We're doing okay. I mean, I don't think anybody in Southern California. There's nobody in Southern California that's going to be untouched by this. And the neighborhood we lived in for 7 years, there's so much damage. I mean, the evacuation orders came 2 blocks. Our house is just on the other side of the freeway. There's a freeway, which was a natural fire break. But above us, by 2 blocks, was the evacuation zone. So crazy there. But we are safe and everybody's okay. And it was, and I have to tell you, without any power, discovering the incredible library. And I'll tell you, want me to tell you a funny story? I'll tell you a funny story. So I had never been into our library before, and the building was built in the late 1800s. It's incredible. The library is incredible. And I went downstairs because we were going to power up our phones because we had no power. And also downstairs, on one hand, so downstairs is the YA section, the graphic novel section, and the science fiction section. So I go down there, and the science fiction section is great. It's not just like, when you go to the bookstore and all you see is like Dean Koontz, Hunger Games, Stephen King, whatever. This science fiction section was incredibly curated, and it went really deep into certain authors' bibliographies, and it was a big section. Now, I'm sure if you go to the Library of Congress, it dwarfs that, but this was I could tell whoever took care of the science fiction section did a good job. So I went up and got a library card because I wanted to be able to use Canopy finally, doing ads for it, do Canopy. And I asked and by the way, the librarians there are just like you would think that they would be, which is the best part. So I went and asked the librarian who gave me the card. I said, who is in charge of the science fiction section? And she points to a woman who's on the phone. And I go over there and she's on the phone, and I kind of stand and I wait till she gets off the phone. And I said, "Excuse me, are you in charge of, you're the woman in charge of the science fiction section?" And she, with much trepidation, she's like going to put her head down and like, okay, here we go. I could tell what she was thinking. And I said, "I got to tell you, your science fiction book selection here is really great. I mean, you have done," and she's standing next to her is kind of a very librarian looking punk rock chick. Like, she's kind of thin and pale, but has a cool haircut, and she's wearing a motorcycle. Like, she's the cool librarian. And this woman, she says to me, she goes, "Well, I'm a black woman, and I'm a big nerd, and I grew up in a black household, and I read a lot of science fiction as a kid." And she was trying to explain to me that was really weird. And I said, "Well, no. I said, your nerd credential," I wasn't thinking. I said, your nerd credential is long and deep compared to what you, and they both bust out laughing. And I haven't realized what I've said. And the punk rock girl goes, "See, your nerd credentials are long and deep." And they were howling, and I'm laughing too. And I said, but I told her, I said, "Look, in all honesty," and I actually checked out a Stephen Baxter book called Galaxia that I didn't even know existed. Stephen Baxter's a favorite writer of mine. I also checked out Blood Music because I was talking about it, and I haven't read it in 40 years, so I checked that out too. But I said to her, I said, it's really, I really appreciate your book selection, and you should be really proud of it. And she goes, "Well, not a lot of people tell me that, and thank you." And this was, I would have told her that anyway. Not just because fires were going on but you know, it went a long way, I think, with her, for me to just, obviously she's put a lot of time and effort into it, and I don't know how many people, you know, take the time to look. Yeah. But I do whenever, you know, it's like, look, I'm a book snob. When I go to someone's house, I like, where are your books? You know, where are they? So that was kind of a funny story that she thought I was, I mean, she really thought I was going to complain.
Yeah. And I saw your post on Instagram, Rob. And speaking of library, Rob, Seinfeld has a great episode with a library, you know, when Mr. Bookman comes to collect. I'm not telling you anything more.
Dude, there's like, first of all, I have started those Seinfeld discs. Warner Brothers, they did a great job on the restoration. Because look, give me, you know, look, when you're taking a 4:3 image and you're blowing into it to make it 16:9, you're blowing the image up, which means it's grainier. Going back to the original aspect ratio, which by the way is always the way to go, they've done a tremendous job with that restoration. I'm really happy to have it, and I'm enjoying it. I haven't got out of the first season yet, but
think what I said, Rob. Bookman, Mr. Bookman, coming
Mr.
to collect.
Bookman, the Soup Nazi and the Bookman. Okay.
Yeah, Soup Nazi comes later.
Yeah, it comes later.
But the library collector comes early.
Yeah,
one of my favorite episodes.
So
the library one.
Castle Grace.
Because Jerry forgot to bring a book back, and of course, the sum amounted to quite substantial.
Quite okay.
Amount.
Okay. I will look out for that. Castle Grace Skull sends in a super chat and says, "Happy birthday to the incomparable, beautiful, intelligent Major Chai Chai. Health and love always." I did not know it was Major Chai Chai's birthday. Happy birthday, Major Chai Chai. She's a big supporter of true noir.
At this moment, Rob, we don't know actually. Is it her birthday or is it just put her in the joke?
Maybe she's the next person who's going to celebrate her birthday. I mean, in February I will have been celebrating my birthday every day for a year. Maybe Major Chai Chai should be the next person whose birthday is celebrated.
I hope it's the real one.
Miele says, any chance Hollywood leaves California to another state? Well, Miele, Hollywood kind of did. They've gone to Atlanta. They've gone to Louisiana. They're building a huge studio in Las Vegas, which I think is going to bring a lot of people. I mean, obviously, the great thing about Southern California is our Mediterranean climate. You've got the ocean. You've got the mountains. You can go wherever you want. Every different kind of terrain is open to you, but Vegas, that's a tough one. But you know, I think a lot of people might be moving out there. Tom Jr. Jackson says he got the entire Ringu collection on Arrow Blu-ray. Well, that's pretty cool. Nice. Does that also come with the Grudge? Oh, what is Major?
Chai says in the live chat, yes, it's true. It is her birthday. So Major Chai Chai, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Major Chai Chai. All the love in the world. I wonder if her family's going to see a movie and what that movie might be. Deckard 2049. Nice reference there. Ooh, nice. Deckard 2049. But boy, that's a spoiler alert that they find him in the movie. Oh, wait, we knew that. Welcome as a PGS hero. He's become a member of the channel. Thank you for that. And Miele says, will movies and series be severely delayed now? I don't think so. Because a lot of production is not in the state anymore. A lot of post is done here, but the studios are pretty intact. I mean, look, there's a lot of people, both actors and behind-the-scenes people. Look, as I said, one of my favorite people in the world, David Goodman, who's the former president of the Writers Guild of America. He was an executive producer on The Orville, and he was a writer on Star Trek Enterprise. He began his career writing, believe it or not, for the Golden Girls. He lost everything. You know, he posts pictures on, I mean, he's been on this channel. I've interviewed him numerous times. Well, not numerous, 3 times, but yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna wind up. I mean, we shall see. It's just it's terrible. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to affect production. I don't know. We'll have to see. Stubble McShave writes in and says, "Hi, Rob. Hope you're doing okay. Even if you haven't lost your house or possessions in the fire, you've still lost something that was very important to you. Other people have lost more, but your loss is not insignificant, and it's okay to grieve the city that was." That's very nice of you to say. I mean, it's hard. Look, because I had my uncle when I first moved here in 1988, the first summer I lived here, all I did was drive around the city because I didn't know LA. I mean, I literally drove around every night. You know, you could drive from Mulholland all the way to the end of Mulholland, which was way out west. And a lot of that area, one of my favorite drives, anybody who's lived in LA knows that driving down Sunset when you turn right, if you're going south on the 405, and I sound like a Californian now, I really am, and you turn right and you get off at Sunset, the drive down Sunset through the Palisades, and you come out at the ocean, you take a right and you go to the Reel Inn, that's all gone. It's all gone. And it was one of the more beautiful places. You know, really, to me, it symbolized all of Los Angeles. You've got your Beverly Hills and Holmby Hills, but the Palisades, as you went through these like beautiful houses, but there was also older houses too. And if you went up inside certain side streets, and there was a lot of remodeled stuff, a lot of wealth there, but there was also some people that had been there for a long time. And then you dropped out of the canyon and you were right there at the LA beachfront, and it was so iconic. And that area to me, and then my uncle's house was on the corner of Sunset and Amalfi, and that's Steven Spielberg's house was up the street. And there's the big gate there. When I first moved down here, I'm like, that's Steven Spielberg's house? I used to go there all the time. I took people and showed them. I'm like, we'd go to the gate. You know, like, look, this is the gate. This is the driveway to Steven Spielberg's house.
You were a tourist guide.
Yeah, and that house is still there. It survived. So,
okay.
Anyway, yeah. So thank you for that. We are caught up.
Yeah. Okay, then I show my second haul. I would say, Major Chai Chai came in, Rob.
Oh, Major Chai Chai says, thank you all for the birthday wishes. Not going to the theater today, Robert, but staying home and watching Some Like It Hot with my son this evening. That's a good choice. That is a good choice. And then Garrett Groover says, which David Cronenberg movie do you want the most in 4K, and is it M. Butterfly? No, it is not M. Butterfly, but I do have the Blu-ray that Warner Brothers put out of M. Butterfly.
I think probably in the news section you will mention something about.
Well, there's we got Cronenberg. I mean, you know, in 4K, there's been a lot of good Cronenberg that's come out in 4K. But I probably would say, you know, I love Dead Ringers. Dead Ringers is not out in 4K, I don't believe.
Don't think so.
I wouldn't mind getting Dead Ringers, but obviously, The Fly.
Yeah.
The Fly. Probably The Fly. But I mean, that's I want Naked Lunch. Oh no, Naked Lunch did come out in 4K.
Naked Lunch is out. Yeah.
I have Naked Lunch in 4K. But yeah, I'd love The Fly. And of course, I have They Came From Within in 4K. That's the German media book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rabbit is not in 4K yet.
No, you're right.
We'll talk about The Brood later and Scanners later.
Yeah. Scanners, yeah.
We got Videodrome in 4K.
Videodrome was probably one of the first ones, actually.
Yeah, Dead Zone's in 4K. Of course, my beloved Crash is in 4K. So,
yeah,
you know, we'll talk about it. We got stuff to talk about.
Only some spots left, considering Cronenberg. We have 50-50. 50-50.
Yeah.
This is filmography.
Yep.
So, I would show my second haul, Rob.
Go right ahead.
This is not... I totally forgot that, Rob. Because this is not a new purchase, but I wanted to mention it. Alien Romulus, Rob. When I watched it, I thought, that scene with Ian Holm looks better than I remember. What I didn't know, Rob, they had done some things with that scene. They changed it. They changed it because I saw a YouTuber mentioning an article. They went back to that scene and Fede said they didn't have time to complete it the way they wanted. So the scene with Ian Holm in the version that's released now for us on physical media is corrected and it looks way better. I only thought, oh, it's a smaller screen. Perhaps I don't remember it correctly. It doesn't look that bad as I remembered it, because it actually looks better now. Just saying.
Are
They
you going
went
to
back
try and convince
and-
me that I have to buy Alien
No, Rob.
Romulus?
No, Rob. I'm just saying that scene is fixed, Rob. It is fixed.
You know, I was going to
It
draw a
doesn't
line.
change what you think of the movie, Rob. I'm just saying, I was surprised because I thought I remembered it wrongly. I thought, oh, the scene looks better than I remembered. I thought it was atrocious in the theater, but I didn't know that it had done something. But now I know, yes, they had changed something, Rob. That is that they didn't have time to finish the scene as they wanted, and they went back to the scene that they did with the puppet from Ian Holm in that scene.
Wow,
You know,
okay.
they had a head from the Lord of the Rings set from Ian Holm. There was some mock-up of his face from the Lord of the Rings special features. Or
Well, I
when they
appreciate
shot
that. You know,
the movie.
I'll hand it to them. You know, my disappointment with that movie was extreme because I like Fede Alvarez a great deal. I think Don't Breathe was a great film, and the Evil Dead remake, I didn't hate it. I just thought that the greatest hits nature of that movie was annoying. You know, say what you want about the 4 previous Alien or 6 previous Alien movies, if you want to include the AVP movies in it, but the 4, I appreciated how different those 4 films were.
Yeah.
And Alien Romulus didn't add anything. You know, what I was thinking about? There was a Dark Horse comic called Hive, an Alien Dark Horse comic that was pretty great. But what's really interesting, I got to thinking, I'm like, if somebody, because last week I watched all of Charlie Lazareca's documentaries.
You told us,
Lazareca. Well, it got me I was thinking, I had a lot of time to ponder the Alien franchise, and I was thinking if somebody came to me and said, what would your Alien movie be about? And all the Alien movies have sort of, the life cycle of the alien creature has been a subtext in all the films. Like in the first movie, we had the one alien and the chest burster. In the Aliens, we had, of course, the alien queen laying the eggs. And in Alien 3, you know, you had an alien bursting out of, if you watch different versions of the movie, basically a yak, a ram, or a dog. And then, of course, in Alien Resurrection, you have genetic material allowed them to clone Ripley, so she still had a queen gestating inside of her, and she was part alien or whatever. Yeah. But it would be interesting to see when a hive, like, you know how when a beehive is finished, when they have a full hive, what would happen when an alien hive, and I didn't remember the Alien Hive comic, so maybe they got into this, but what would happen if an alien hive is actually completed? What is an alien hive supposed to do? What is its equivalent of honey? Like if the queen lays the eggs and the drones come out and they finish building a hive, does the alien hive do something? Like how a beehive produces honey? And what would an alien hive do? And what would happen if, say, an alien hive was finished on a planetary scale? What would that mean? I don't know. I was just pondering these thoughts.
So what you want is an Alien Hive series and a Predator, what they are doing 9 to 5 series. You know,
that's right.
That's your AVP universe.
That's well, you know, as I've said, one of the great things about AVP Requiem is you get to see what a workaday Predator does. Yeah, I mean, Predators have skyscrapers, they have buildings. What is the Predator equivalent of Seinfeld?
Exactly. You told us. That's the 2 shows you want, you know.
That's true. So back to you.
Second part of my haul. Rob, you showed it already last week. I got it too. Gage.
Did you watch it? It looks great.
And unfortunately, not Rob. Didn't get around to it. I got it, I think, yesterday. Just last minute. Last minute in. This one is out a little bit longer, but now finally I got it. The Valiant ones from Eureka as a 4K. And let me see here. I just got the version which comes with a booklet. It doesn't have exactly a reversible cover artwork. The only thing, if you do something like that, it would be nice if you actually use, you know, a an emerald that's, translucent, that you could actually see the back. And it got a booklet in it. The Valiant ones. I think it had a price drop to it. And with that, considering the shipping costs, I always try to get two, but the shipping costs get a little bit separated on both. I bought a Cat in the Backdrop. Deadshot. Deadshot looks good. With Mark Strong, Felicity Jones, Sky original movie. Hopefully with some action. Let me see. 15 for strong bloody violence. Good. Threat and language. Deadshot. Then I don't know, Rob, if you have shown this because it's out a little bit longer. I bought a new version of.
I have an old version. I have the original Kino. Yeah. Kino put that out.
I can't tell you if there's anything new with that one.
That movie is so great.
I have no idea. That
movie is so disturbing, and so it also has one of my favorite lines in any movie. When our main character, who has killed his girlfriend, says, "Sometimes you just do shit, and it's done." I'm like, well, yeah, that's true.
It's true.
So,
it's true.
By the way, that guy was in Agent Cody Banks. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
but
nice. I don't know if you have shown it, but if you said you have the old one, okay. Next one, once again, comes with a little bit controversy. Is it 4K? Is it 2K upscale? But I got it finally. The Inglourious Basterds from Arrow, and as far as I know, it's almost the same as the Universal one, but not really.
Oh, I don't know. Paul Twinflix says it looks a lot better.
Okay. So here we got the Outer Shell. No. War Office.
Yeah, mine's
Kino.
Coming.
And then inside, you can have the original poster artwork as a cover. Here we got a 4K. Disc 2 says just extras Blu-ray. It doesn't seem to have the movie on it. So, movie's only on the 4K, it seems. And it comes, let me just see here. Stolz der Nation. Daniel Brühl. And okay. Whitehall of Pitzbalü. Haven't seen it in a long time. And I remember, but I remember when the movie came out, I actually had early shift. So, and I went with a friend and I thought, 2.5 hours. I probably will fall asleep. Oh, we got a little bit of a menu here.
The strudel.
You can get in. So I thought, and we got a little bit of promotion from Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, oh my God, 2.5 hours, I probably fell asleep. But since it's Quentin, I was captivated the whole movie through, and bang, 2.5 hours were gone. So this was the stuff that is in the MRA. And we have some other stuff here. Design. Need to do. No. The poster. See if it comes with the two artworks. Easy. Up. And with a booklet. Just see. Yes. Films and filmmakers. Have to watch it. And I remember, I think, considering Inglourious Basterds, the German version was a little bit different. In the scene at the pub. I think there were some changes made because Quentin likes, Japanese, get a little bit more Japanese stuff in it with Kill Bill. And I think in Inglourious Basterds, the German version were a little bit different in the pub, but not intensely like the stuff with Kill Bill. So Inglourious Basterds, the from Arrow, and I only got let's say 3 titles left, but I saved the last one, which is actually not a movie, for later. This one was a movie that you made me aware of, considering the Laserdisc that you showed at some time. I have never seen it, and you were not happy with the packaging. And I watched it this afternoon. I got my Vinegar Syndrome off The Keep.
Now, have you ever seen The Keep before?
No, I have not seen The Keep before. And it's really not a good movie. It doesn't really fit together. You can see the production issues. It has great moments, but it's not really a focused movie. You were with Jürgen Prochnow, and I was surprised since I haven't seen it about the cast. I thought, wait, Scott Glenn, Jürgen Prochnow, okay, Gabriel Byrne, Sir Ian McKellen. What the hell? I've never seen it.
Well, it was Michael Mann's. It was Michael Mann's second feature, and it was a theatrical feature, and it was based on the F. Paul Wilson novel. And I just think that they didn't have enough time. The effects didn't work, and all that.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting artifact because people had never. I mean, the disc looks incredible.
Yeah, but you can hear it in the sound drop. The production issues. The sound give it way more away in the sound than the picture quality. And I listened to a little bit to the audio commentary when I did my setup here. And of course, Rob, little German again, when he mentions Jürgen Prochnow, of course, one movie comes up, the Wolfgang Petersen movie, which is called, Rob, how?
Das Boot.
Exactly, Rob. And he said, of course, in the audio commentary, Boot. Okay? And you got it right.
We Americans we're trying to be sophisticated, brah.
No, it's of course, it's written like boot, and you would say it like that. But like you said, it's boat, not boot. But he said in the audio commentary, of course, boot. Just to mention it. The next one, which were in the same package with the movie The Keep, a Category 3 stuff, Rob. I have not seen this movie from Corey Yuen and David Lai. I put Woman on the Run in it, and Rob, I had a blast with this one. I've never heard of it. It's from 1993. It has everything: girls with guns, martial arts, sex. It has so many genres.
Okay, wait, hang on. Repeat that again. Girls with martial arts,
girls with guns, martial arts fights, sex.
Okay,
violence,
let's just stop. I got to stop you right there. I think, in Conan, we know what's best in life because Conan tells us. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women. I think you found something else. Girls with guns. What was it? Girls with guns.
Martial arts, sex,
and sex,
erotic thriller, everything.
And add to the fact that I would add one last. I would the first one. It's Asian girls with guns, which is even better. Excellent. So wow, we know now Conan and Dieter. Two guys.
Women on the run.
There we go. Women on the run.
Women on the run. Exactly.
Okay.
Totally a blast of a movie. Couldn't believe it. Even the audio commentary is worth listening to because it's so entertaining. Let me just see who did the audio commentary. Travis Woods. Totally had a blast listening to him about this movie. I've never heard of it. 1993, so almost at the end of the Hong Kong era. I had a blast with this one, Rob. And there is stuff in it where you just go, what the fuck?
Wow.
But in the best way, Rob. In the best way. So.
And who put that out?
Recommendation.
Is that 88?
Vinegar Syndrome. Vinegar Syndrome.
And it's women. What is it called? Women on the Run. Oh, I got to get me
Women
that.
on the Run.
All right, if that's
Yeah,
a
totally.
Bastian recommendation, I'll take that to the
it's
bank.
not 4K, Rob, but the Blu-ray looks good. I was really surprised and have never heard of this movie, Rob. It's a little bit of an underrated gem, as the Travis Woods mentioned in the audio commentary. Totally recommended, Rob. Woman on the Run. It has everything, and he totally celebrates Corey Yoon with this movie. You know, it has everything that you can want. And I have one more thing to show, but I will keep that to later, Rob.
All right. Well, I that comes that I got to tell you, I got a box. I got a box. I got a box in the mail yesterday. A box in the mail. But to set up this box, I have to tell you about another envelope that I got. So in my envelope was this.
Ooh, nice.
Now, of course, it's still, you can see there's a little bit of a divot in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see it, Rob. Yeah.
It's fine. I do like it's not shiny. I like the matte finish on this. Okay, so
It looks better now when you see it as it did on just the website, because you were not too thrilled with the.
No, I think this
cover artwork?
I think this steelbook is lame. And frankly, I wanted the What's in the Box collector set. Now, here's the thing. I totally understand why David Fincher did not want to put out 7 in a What's in the Box collector set. Because it's kind of goofy. And this is not a goofy movie. Everyone's heard me tell the story.
You're right. Never thought about it. Yeah.
You know, I read this script. It was the first script I ever said. It was the only script I ever said yes to when I was a reader at Silver Pictures. I read it in 1990 and did coverage on it. And I begged people. I've told the story a million times. But anyway, the movie didn't come out till 95. This transfer is stunning. You know, on Laserdisc, if you go back and you watch, and you can see the featurette, the Laserdisc was groundbreaking at the time from Criterion. David Fincher pulled out all the stops, but, you know, that was garbage NTSC video. This transfer is absolutely stunning on every level. And there's all the commentaries recycled and everything. But, you know, we always talk about the movie itself is what's important. And maybe Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader will have some problems with this. There's a few things. I mean, yes, he used AI. There's AI. There's some stuff that was little things that were changed. I don't care. It looks incredible. This looks incredible. It looks incredible.
Like watching it for the first time. It was,
well, I mean, this is a really dark film. Yeah. So it's but it's always because Fincher this is just a stunning achievement in home video. But why I wanted to bring this up first is there's a line in this movie where, Detective Somerset, Morgan Freeman, goes to Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow's house. And you find out that Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow were high school sweethearts. They're high school sweethearts, which is the line I'm going to draw from this release, which came in an envelope from Amazon late, but it came instead of not showing up like Nightmare on Elm Street showed up 3 months later. But it's important to remember this movie has 2 characters that, I mean, I knew one of the woman lost her head at the end of the movie, which is not what happens. And it's not the line I'm drawing. I'm just going to take the childhood, the high school sweethearts aspect of this film. First of all, this is a great release. Well done, Warner Brothers. Awesome. I wish this was a little better of a steelbook.
The only thing that's missing is the quote, script approval by R&B.
That's
the quote.
Right. That was right.
That you need on the box. Script approval.
But I think
R&B.
for the purposes of the conversation, remember that the 2 characters in this movie were childhood sweethearts. It all worked out. They married. I mean, it didn't work out in the end, but that was the problem of a serial killer. But just keep in mind the idea of high school sweethearts who later went on to get married and had a successful marriage and raised, they didn't get to raise children. They call their children dogs in the movie. But imagine if you were a person that was in high school and you did marry your high school sweetheart. Think about that. That leads us to the box I got in the mail yesterday.
Okay.
Okay? So
Okay.
I got this box in the mail yesterday. And here's the thing. Normally, I'm too busy. I'm doing something. So I got this box, and what did I have to do? I had to open this box. And then I had to sit down, and I'm like, oh, what do these look like? So I took Elizabeth out to dinner. We got home, I want to say we got home about 9 o'clock. I did not finish with what was in this box. What's in the box? And they're drawing that line until about 3 o'clock this morning. 3:30.
Okay.
So let's talk about what was in the box. And I'm gonna go full frame on this one.
Yeah.
So thank you to the lovely Lisa Stevenson from LIONSGATE, who had me write some articles. Full disclosure, I mean, I'm not a LIONSGATE employee other than I wrote some articles for them, which I should actually invoice them for because she told me to, and I haven't done that yet. But LIONSGATE Limited, which, by the way, once you figure out that their logo is a director going like this, that's like the coolest idea ever. She was on this show a couple weeks ago. Yeah. She's a beautiful woman, incredibly smart. Married to who? Her high school sweetheart, Cliff Stevenson, who's been working diligently on making the special features for the upcoming Anton Fuqua-directed Michael Jackson biopic. Well, because I wrote these articles, guess what I got in the mail? I got these.
Ooh,
nice. First of all, look at those spines. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, there has been a lot of people have had, and first of all, I am not, if I didn't like these things, I have never pulled my punches saying I don't like something. Okay? And there's been a lot of people that have talked about the artwork on these discs.
The steelbooks.
The steelbooks. Now, I have to say, the key art for both Kill Bill and Kill Bill 2, Part 2, was never very good. It wasn't good. And I'm of the opinion that both the regular editions of LIONSGATE's 4K Kill Bill 1 and 2 are cool, but I love, I'm a comic book fan, so I love different iterations of artwork. We've talked a lot about if we think something is shitty, Warner Premiere sends me their stuff, but I'm like, that Lost Boys artwork was fucking terrible. And your Poltergeist artwork, Warner Brothers, sucked ass. So I'll say it. Don't think I'm a corporate shill. If I like something, I like something. If I don't like something, I will say it. Now, I gotta say, first of all, these are LIONSGATE limited releases. They're not the major releases. These are the LIONSGATE limited website-only releases. And I know, before anybody says, look, yeah, are they a little bit more expensive? Yeah, but they're not like Disney Andor expensive or Deadpool and Wolverine expensive. There's no big box retailers anymore. But I gotta say, here is the Kill Bill Volume 1 Steelbook. Now, you can't really see it, but the LIONSGATE limited look. Let's see if I can I do it?
It's in the upper corner.
Yeah, it's in the upper corner. There you go. Up corner. Yeah. It's also
in the two corners, actually, Rob.
Yeah, and it's also, you got right down here the LIONSGATE limited logo, the looking through the viewfinder logo. That's fucking dope. Now look at this shit.
Nice.
Bruh. I mean,
nice.
This is awesome. I love this. I love this.
What I say, Rob, sometimes a steelbook doesn't look particularly enticing on a website, but when you hold it in your own hands, it sometimes looks way better.
Well, and also, this is kind of evocative of the anime. There's a big anime section here. Nice. Dude, I mean,
that looks dope.
This, first of all, look, I understand you young purists or whatever can complain all you want, but you know what this shows me? this shows me that there's a lot of love and thought and care put into these releases. And it's not just 3, it's actually 4. Although I have to say, these are a little snug. These exterior things are a little snug. And I before I put them on the shelf, I will put the external sleeves around them because I don't want any of this stuff to come off. So that's Kill Bill.
And you did take a look at them, Rob.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. Now here's Kill Bill Volume 2. Again, you got the Lionsgate Limited logo there, and then although I kind of wonder, I'm not really sure, but you see the sword here that she's holding up the sword. I'm kind of wondering. I guess that's Ellie Driver's sword. I didn't know the sword anyway. Again, this is just dope. And on the back, look at this. How cool is that? Nice. I mean, you got Bud, Pai Mei, you got Bill.
Totally fitting for each volume.
Bruh. And then, I mean, if you know the movies, the thing is, the people who made this, the design firm, whoever designed these, clearly put a lot of love into this. So, but now, Dieter, artwork's great. Artwork's great. Who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, it's about the transfers. And everybody who knows Kill Bill, who loves these movies, knows that it begins with the Shaw Brothers, Shaw Scope logo, and then you have the dun 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 dun.
Feature film presentation.
You look at that, the feature presentation. These discs are fucking jaw-dropping. They are so gorgeous. They are so filmic. I mean, the presentation, Robbie Richardson's photography, the grain in the image these are it felt, I swear to God, and I'm not trying to oversell this because look, damn fool idealistic crusader, he'll come in and probably shoot all my delight. But the only look, I was just going to look at these. I was just going to put them on and like skip through them, skip to Malou. I put this on. I put Kill Bill on 1. Now they do not have Atmos tracks as far as I remember. You know what I just realized? Maybe no, I put this on backwards. I think they just have the 5.1. To be honest.
Yeah, the original mix.
Yeah, the original mix. Yeah. What does it still be?
So
I don't know. I listened to 5.1. All I can say is these are incredible. The transfers are incredible. They sound great. They look great. I was blown away, and I sat down. I just kind of wanted to see, when she's fighting Vernita Green at the beginning. These discs look incredible. They are incredible. So I'm Kill Bill 1 and 2 are both, Robert Richardson, who shot like JFK and stuff. He's an incredible cinematographer. The colors, the richness, and the sound, the separation. And the funny thing is 7 is also 5.1. They didn't remix it in Dolby Atmos. And it also sounds incredible because that was how it originally was released. And what people don't understand is if you want a really great Dolby Atmos mix, someone has to pay for that. There's no button you can press. Let's make it Dolby Atmos. You have to have a whole new remix done, which ain't cheap. So, I was blown away by the presentation of Kill Bill 1 and 2. And I was like, I'm not going to watch both of these movies. I started at 9. I'm not going to watch. I'm just going to zip through them. But I had to do it. I had to watch it. And
so considering the transfers, Rob, bang, bang, they shut you down.
Bang, bang, they shot me down. Bang, bang. Yes. I mean, this was, and staying up to watch all these movies was me at my most masochistic. So I'm watching these discs. I mean, they were so gorgeous. And I literally was like, and there's so many different things going on that you want to get to the next scene to see how does like the house. Now, a lot of people have asked, well, does the House of Blue Leaves? So for those of you who don't know, there are, I believe, only in Japan, the House of Blue Leaves sequence was very different. There is no black and white in the movie. It is more violent. It is all in color. Now, unfortunately, that was only in Japan. Yeah. And it was only released on DVD, which is why I will never part with my DVD of Kill Bill.
From Japan,
This is the version when she does the eye pull, it goes into black and white. And
the idea when Quentin switches to black and white is great, with the eye and the light switch.
Yeah, the eye
that's great.
And do I wish it was all in color? Yes, and I'm sure Quentin Tarantino does too. But that's simply not the way it was released in the West. And if you want to find that Japanese DVD, or good luck, or the Stinky Tuna version of The Whole Bloody Affair, which I can't say that I have, but, I'm just saying that these discs are by far, by a wide margin, I mean, between 7 and Kill Bill 1 and 2 and The Searchers, these are all jaw-dropping discs. Jaw-dropping.
And No Country for Old Men Rock.
And
only wanted to just check out a little and watched it again too. Completely.
So I was already, what was it? It was like, 1 a.m. when I was done?
Yeah.
No, I started 9. It was like 12:30. I'm like, fuck it, man. I gotta look at Jackie Brown. So here is Jackie Brown. Here and again with the Lionsgate Limited.
Yeah.
And again, I love this film. And again, the artwork, the love.
Yeah.
Now, this might be not to everybody's taste. I get it. But I'm a comic book fan. And so even this, if you know the movie, this is the wall at LAX that she's going around. I mean, there's
no, I remember, Rob. Was it that long trekking shot?
Yes, when she's going against the tiled wall of LAX. And again, it's how much thought and effort was put into these discs. And, this artwork might not be to your taste, but I love it. And again, this was shot by Guillermo del Navarro, so it doesn't look, it looks very different than Robbie Richardson's photography. Again, this movie looks incredible. And I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. I thought,
me either.
I thought, you know what? I'll just, again, I was 3 hours into Quentin Tarantino. I'm well, yeah, 4 hours. So it was probably close to 1 o'clock.
With volume 1 and volume 2.
Yeah. So I had to put this in, and this is a long movie too. And so, the dogs were totally asleep. They didn't wake up at all during Jackie Brown. Again, looks fucking incredible. Awesome. The transfers are incredible. Lionsgate has done, and again, if their mandate was, because if you remember that the like they had done the Apocalypse Now 4Ks originally, but these are new. Like these are the first, like you've got so Lionsgate Limited released The Conversation that they got from Studio Canal, and they released Apocalypse Now, which they had overseen already, which are incredible. Those transfers are incredible.
Yeah. There was no need for doing new transfers there, Rob.
No. And I will say,
but it's the first time we got Kill Bill in for.
Yeah, and just to be a completist, I mean, this has already been. Yeah, this was done before. They did re-release Reservoir Dogs. I mean, is this kind of goofy? Yeah, it's kind of goofy. Okay, but they've made it of a piece. I didn't watch this because I already have this.
That looks more pink that I remember.
Yeah, it is. They made it pink. Mr. Pink. Nice. I get it. Again, people complain, but I'll tell you one thing. However, I mean, I'm an alphabetizing guy. but that's pretty dope. You know, they used all the original
sometimes
logos.
It's tough.
So
considering advertising or what fits together, considering the back, the spine,
but there's just the thought put into the. I mean, the collector's market. They're catering to the collector's market. So, but again, the transfer. The opening scene where Robert De Niro is talking. But okay, you've got the credits, but then you got the long scene where Sam Jackson is talking to Robert De Niro about the guns. They're watching like the hot chicks with the guns, and I'm like,
girls with guns, Rob.
Girls with guns again. And I sat and I watched the whole fucking movie. Why? Because the transfer was delish. So again, Lionsgate has, if that's their mandate, and with Lisa Stevenson married to Cliff, her high school sweetheart, and their house was being threatened by the fires too. It's still there, I hope.
Okay. Nice.
If that's what we can expect from Lionsgate's output in the future, we should be very excited for what Lionsgate Limited is doing. And by the way, since we've been on, Lisa Stevenson has texted me.
Oh, okay.
And she said, "I'll give you a little nugget." This I guess we're breaking. We have some breaking news. She already sent me, but I'll give this breaking news now. Breaking news. Lisa Stevenson from Lionsgate says, "I'll give you a little nugget. We will be releasing Den of Thieves 1 on 4K as the director's cut in March."
Nice.
I haven't read that anywhere.
Awesome. Yeah.
And Lisa also said, she said yesterday, she texted me, because I did text her. I said, "God damn, do these 4Ks look unbelievable?" But she had her notifications silenced. But she wrote me back and she said, "If you're doing your show tomorrow, you can announce your next and the third man for February on the Lionsgate Limited site, and then Forbidden Kingdom on Amazon."
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Forbidden Kingdom. Yeah, nice.
Forbidden Kingdom is on Amazon, so I hope Bill Hunt's already announced that.
Yeah, and just a little bit on Cliff Stevens drop. You said he does special features on the Michael Jackson movie. Does he do special features for the new Saw movie too? Do you know something about that? If he is involved,
you know what? I don't know, but his documentary on the last Saw movie was great.
Yeah,
I don't. To be honest, I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. I'm sure that maybe, hey, if they're watching right now, maybe we could find out. Is Cliff doing the features on Saw? I'm not sure.
on Saw 11.
On Saw 11. But so these Tarantino discs get my highest recommendation. Both from, first of all, the movies are the most important. They look fantastic.
Yeah,
they look fantastic. And again, I watched all of Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2, and Jackie Brown. I did not watch Reservoir Dogs again, but that first transfer was stunning. It's always looked stunning, but the 4K they already put out was great. But to have this, I love this. I mean, this looks so cool on a shelf.
Nice.
And if you want to line them all up next to each other, I mean, if you're going to do stylized packaging, make it cool. I mean, some people might not like the stylized packaging, but I liked artwork. I think the spirit of the movies was totally captured in the artwork. I mean, especially the comic anime nature kind of these. It's just I need to get them in slipcases because, every time something rubs against each other, it scratches. I don't even want to put anything on top of these. Oops.
So it's always good if they have already their own slip around them.
Yeah, they do. But even the slip you don't want to get scratched. So you have to put that in an external sleeve. That's what I'm talking about. And now I only have one other disc I got that I am really excited to get from Janus. Janus is Criterion's arm of modern films. I got The Beast finally.
Oh, nice, Rob.
I can't
Did you
wait.
Get around to...
No, I haven't.
I'm really looking forward what you think about.
I think
it's a movie that I will need to rewatch again, Rob, to make a final judgment.
I'll probably watch this with Elizabeth because it's French. But again, really classy. I think this is my first Janus contemporaries. I mean, Janus is Criterion's like parent company, or I guess they're the partner label now. Are there some special features on it, Rob? Because I don't know. There's a one that I got that feature that. There's a trailer, and then there's a new interview with the director.
Okay, I think it's the same. It's the same than the UK.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, the packaging isn't that interesting, and there's a little book, a little booklet. But I'm really excited to get this movie because I really want to see it. So that
it flew a little bit under the radar last year.
Yes. So that is my, I mean, if you include Stir of Echoes, that's 5 great Lionsgate steelbooks.
Certainly.
And with 7,
and I was pretty happy with the transfer of Stir of Echoes 2, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
It was very, very good. The blacks were there, the colors were vibrant. Really nice one.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Lionsgate is doing great work. And I haven't been asked to write another article, but I'd love to write something for Your Next if someone already hasn't done it.
Yeah. And Stir of Echoes had a Dolby Atmos track.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we have some super chats.
Yeah, there are super chats.
Yeah.
Super chats. That's let's see, super chats. Lots of super chats. Garrett Groover says already asked that. Garrett Groover says, which Abel Ferrara movies would you like in 4K, considering we already have The Addiction, Bad Lieutenant, and King of New York? Well, come on, man. Driller Killer. Driller Killer. Yeah, no. Driller Killer, it's 16 millimeters, so it probably wouldn't look great. That's a good question. I mean,
why not?
Actually, are we getting, I know Vinegar Syndrome released Deadly Game or whatever. I'll have to look. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't know yet. Maybe his Invasion of the Body Snatchers movie, just because I want to see Meg Tilly say, "Where you gonna go when there's no one left like you?" Maybe. 200 Watt Studio says, I think Jackie Brown is Tarantino's best film. The pairing of Elmore Leonard and Tarantino is perfect. I wish he adapted other Leonard works. It's true. By the way, Michael Keaton is playing the same character in both Jackie Brown and Steven Soderbergh's Out of Sight.
Out of Sight, yeah.
So both of those movies are in 4K, and you can get them. So that's pretty cool. But yes, I really like watching Jackie Brown again. It's great. Has a great ending too. Apocalypse Cow says, hey, B&B, I picked up Hatari, Internal Affairs, Conflict, The Tall Target, Arrow's Great Escape 4K, and Jackie Brown, the 4K Steelbook. And my girlfriend and I just rented Feed from Cinephile Video last night.
Nice.
Well, you and your girlfriend are in for an uplifting, mirth-filled evening of fun when you watch Feed. Actually, if you really want the experience, when you're watching it, you should probably put her in bed and buy a bunch of, like, fried chicken and feed it to her as you're watching the movie to enhance the experience. Or not. Apocalypse
it's the Kentucky Fried Movie experience.
It is the Kentucky Fried Movie experience. Apocalypse Cow says, my girlfriend and I live in Westwood, and we love this show. We met 3 years ago at UCLA's MFA screenwriting program and love this show, and we can't wait to watch Feed. Well, I'll tell you something. If the two of you watch Feed, make a video, just the two of you, like, make it, I don't care if it's a minute or two, if you on your phone, if you make us us a reaction video and do it horizontally, not vertically, because if you do it horizontally, we can play it on the show. We'll play because you'll be the first people to have experienced Feed. I mean, not since African Kung Fu Nazis have we had a movie that we champion on this channel. By the way, I still have Justin Toner's copy right over there. Don't think I've forgotten it. So there you go.
Okay. So we can do. I have one thing left to show up, but I want to wait a little bit. We could actually do the news section.
We can do the news section. Okay. Lot of good news. Let's start the news section.
Yeah.
First of all, my friend Eric Lichtenfeld, who I haven't talked to in a very long time, published something really interesting. I guess he did a little work. He was a friend. He's done a lot of interviews and stuff with John McTiernan. John McTiernan's work. He's done a lot of work, behind-the-scenes stuff. the production designer of Die Hard. He interviewed him and things like that. He brought to my attention that Treasured Films out of the UK, another small boutique label, is putting out John McTiernan's first feature, a horror film starring Pierce Brosnan that he also wrote. So he wrote and directed it, and
I think I saw that.
That heads up our news section.
Yeah,
Nomads. So this is very, very cool. This comes from Treasured Films, and they are putting this out. Obviously, they've put out different movies. They put out The Island. They've put out You Might Be the Killer, Satan's Little Helper. They've some pretty obscure things. They put out Stuart Gordon's King of the Ants, which let's see, did I put that here? Did I put the King of the Ants here? They put that out too. And they also put out this film, Satan's Blood, which is coming, and Mausoleum. So they're a smaller company, but they're including with their stuff, like they have limited edition magnets and posters and things, and like Satan's Blood. Just to give you a little bit of this will be coming out February 28th. It's diabolical hijinks, gory thrills, and devil dolls abound in this essential Euro horror entry from post-Francoist Spain. When a young married couple venture out into the city of Madrid, they have a chance encounter with a mysterious couple claiming to be old friends of theirs who invite them back to their large, secluded villa out in the countryside. What follows is a night of bizarre satanic orgies, blood-curdling nightmares, and gruesome murder as the young couple are thrust into an entangled world of Kabbalistic ritual, where their very souls may well be the next offerings to the Dark Prince himself. And let me tell you, Dieter, a night of bizarre satanic orgies and blood-curdling nightmares and gruesome murder.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's the kind of weekend I want to have. But Nomads is really interesting. Now, I used to own Nomads. I had an Image Laserdisc of Nomads, I want to say, back in the day. And I really like Nomads. It's a really interesting film. I mean, it doesn't have... It's just really... it's wild. I mean, the premise of the movie is wild, and their package of it looks great. It comes with art cards. It has this new artwork on the front, but it's got the original key art on the inside disc. And here's what they say about that: they creep, they kill, and no one knows who they are or where they come from. But when these rootless demonic spirits descend on a determined doctor, all hell breaks loose. Bitten by a dying madman named Jan Pommier, he becomes the vessel for his turbulent and insane thoughts. Thrust into his last days, a woman is shocked to discover the existence of mysterious and murderous demons on a quest for destruction, and begins her own quest to somehow stop them. So there you go. And it stars Adamant, Mary Warnoff, and Frank Doubleday, who played Romero in Assault on Precinct 13. Romero in Escape from New York, but he was also in Assault on Precinct 13 and was as one of the gang leaders. And it's a brand new 2K scan, and new extras. So, hey, you go, Treasured Films UK. And so their latest releases that are coming are, once again, King of the Ants, Nomads, and, of course... and Satan's Claw. Satan's Blood.
Satan's Blood.
So that's exciting. And then we have coming out from Scream Factory, a gaggle of new titles. Night of the Creeps. Fred Decker's Night of the Creeps, from the old Pad-O guys that Shane Black descended from. Night of the Creeps is coming out in 4K. I love this movie. It's a whole lot of fun. It would make a great double bill with James Gunn's Slither.
Certainly.
So there you go.
That's
and
good,
then
good double feature.
Then I gotta say, they're also putting out, Shout Select is putting out Bring It On in 4K. Dude, I'm gonna admit something to you. I love this movie. I love Kirsten Dunst. I love this movie. Bring it on, I say, and Bring It On in 4K. I will buy this. I don't know what this cover is, but whatever. I'll still buy the movie. Not a very good cover.
Cover looks like almost like a documentary.
Yeah, like who did this? Who did this cover? Who? That somebody got paid to do that. Well, let's go back to the original key art of Forbidden World. It's kind of like the low-rent Galaxy of Terror, but still, Galaxy of Terror and Forbidden World go together like chocolate and peanut butter. So you got to get that. And they're putting out animation Ghost Cat. I don't know this, but the cover intrigues me. If you want to get some anime cooking, there you go. And Blu-ray, you got Ghost Cat going for you. Then, of course, I am so excited about this. The Who's Tommy, Ken Russell at his most Ken Russell, doing an adaptation of The Who's concept album, Tommy. Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. Anyway, are you a Who fan? Am I going to get demonetized because I just sang Pinball Wizard?
No, I
Although I wouldn't call it singing.
So. But you will see if you get the message about it.
There you go. Demonetized. So Shout Factory's got a good, or Scream Factory's got a good array, good eclectic mix of February discs. But now we come out of the blue. You know, no word on Possession yet, no word on Near Dark. But my beloved Second Sight this week, coming into the new year hot. Now, they've done work with David Cronenberg and his son before. I mean, where's Infinity Pool Second Sight? I hope it's coming. But, you know, they have previously released Possessor, and they released Crimes of the Future. But Second Sight is coming out with 2 Cronenberg bangers from his early years of body horror. What I would call his Ordinary People. Second Sight is doing in 4K. Criterion has previously released this, but Second Sight must have got, putting out Samantha Eggar and The Brood, Oliver Reed and Samantha Eggar, a 4K disc of The Brood, one of my favorite Cronenberg movies. Oh my God! Can't wait.
Playon will release both movies here in Germany in their editions.
Well, there you go. I'm very, very, very excited to get The Brood. Well, you already tipped my hand there, but also Scanners. Yeah. We're going to do this the Scanner way. Daryl Revok, still probably the greatest head explosion in all of cinema history, here.
Certainly it is.
You know, it's great stuff. Very excited to get this. And now, surprising. Now, here's something I've already bought twice. I've bought the big box set from England, and I also spent, when it first came out, an exorbitant amount of money to get the Japanese box set. And now it's coming out from Imprint in Australia. 26 episodes of one of my favorite science fiction TV shows ever, starting production, or it came out, well, it was made between 1969 and 1971. Jerry Anderson's first live-action TV show, UFO. If you haven't picked this up before, Imprint's putting it out. Not only do you get all 26 episodes of the show, but as with the Space 1999 box set they put out, you also get the compilation movie, Invasion UFO. You can see it in the bottom left corner. So that's pretty damn exciting. And I think I did not get their Prisoner box set because I already had it. But these transfers, when they went and redid these transfers on Blu-ray, these transfers are absolutely stunning. If you've never seen UFO, what's wrong with you? And you can now get it and watch it yourself. This is a very interesting science fiction TV series, and I loved it when I was a kid. I love it more when I'm an adult. Check it out. So that's coming out from Imprint. They're also putting out Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie, which we've talked about before. But UFO is a surprise. Very exciting. And then we have Diary of a Chambermaid, Louis Buñuel with Jean Moreau, is coming out from Kino Lorber. Now, of course, Buñuel, the box set from Radiance, we already looked at that. But this is a classic, a Buñuel classic, and that's great to get. A Kino Lorber, again, doing great stuff with their foreign films, silent films, the great films of all time. Kino Lorber is putting them out, and they just keep putting out bangers, and this is one of them. Very excited to get this as well. Then we have from a new label in the UK, I guess a new label, they're putting out
no, it's Dazzler. They are the company who put
Dazzler,
out
yeah.
the Apple series. The Apple series.
Well, there you go. So they're not new, but this is new from them. Last Voyage of the Demeter's coming out in 4K because they only release it here in 2K. I mean, on Blu-ray. So
it was worldwide just a 2K, so I'm really nice that
I really like this movie a lot.
Me too.
So I'm really happy to get it from them. So you
nice
guys,
companion piece to Nosferatu.
Great companion piece. Great companion piece to Nosferatu. Totally. Then Radiance, again, putting out another eclectic bunch of films. We're getting Girl with a Suitcase. I don't know anything about this movie, but everything Radiance puts out seems to be something that should be looked at. They're putting out A Tale of Sorrows and Sadness, and says this is from Suzune Suzuki, and again, haven't seen this movie, but Suzuki's work is usually critically acclaimed, so why not? River of Grass is coming out, and again, I don't know much. Now this Vasawa, I've actually seen this movie. Again, this is a great film. Loved. I saw this so long ago though, and actually not that long ago. But again, a very eclectic mix. Again, coming from Radiance, and then finally, I get these from Kino, but their Raro Video stuff, Killer Cop. They're also putting this out, so they share the rights to these Vero Video things or Raro Video with Kino Lorber. But again, a great group of films, and there's always something interesting. They're so well curated. Radiance is great. Also from Kino Lorber, The Black Tulip, starring Alain Delon. You got to love him. That's coming out from Kino Lorber. I don't know anything about this, but come on, it looks like a swashbuckling fun time at the flicks. Why not? Then we've got, this is really interesting. So Warner Brothers is putting out 3 4K discs. They're putting out Judas and the Black Messiah. They're putting out, get this, The Nice Guys.
Awesome.
So good. And there was one more, and did I forget to put it out? There was something else they were putting out.
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Another one?
But Judas and the Black Messiah and The Nice Guys are coming out from Warner Brothers. So finally, they're getting 4K releases, which leads me to believe that going into their catalog titles that had previously been released in Blu-ray, they've seen that there's a market for these movies, and they're going to put them out in 4K. So you go, Warner Brothers. You go. And then Nicholas Roeg's film, Castaway, is coming out from 88 Films. I'm a huge Nicholas Roeg fan. Oliver Reed is in this. So one of his later films. I mean, Nicholas Roeg's kind of hit and miss, but cool to see 88 Films put this out. Very exciting. And then finally, we have Half a Chance. I haven't seen this movie, but it's a later film. Jean-Paul Belmondo, Alain Delon, and Vanessa Paradis, who you might remember as being Johnny Depp's, the mother of Johnny Depp's kids. So that's, yeah, so Half a Chance. Don't know much about it, but I definitely, hey, why not check it out? Right? And then here's this last movie, well, not this last film, but coming out from Vinegar Syndrome's partner label, Cinematography. Until somebody tells me how to pronounce it properly, I'm just going to call it Cinematography because that's how it's spelled. I don't know the French pronunciation of that. This is an early film that I watched the trailer for this, and I have to say that this movie looked really interesting. It's written by the guy who wrote Burnt Offerings, and it takes place in a boarding school. It's considered mystery and horror, and it stars, check this out, James Mason, Jeff Bridges' brother Beau Bridges, and Robert Preston. And it's directed by The Verdict's Sidney Lumet. And I've never seen this movie. And I watched the trailer for it. This looks really intriguing. Definitely something I'm picking up. just because I've never seen it. And the trailer is great. You can watch the trailer, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch that. It looks like it'd make a great double feature with the Chocolate War. Just like Catholic boarding schools being bad places to be. But you never know. And the way the film centers on the rivalry between two faculty members at St. Charles, an exclusive Catholic boarding school for boys. Lou Dobbs is an easygoing, well-liked English teacher, while Latin and Greek instructor Jerome Malley is feared and hated by his students. Malley is caring for his dying mother, and his stress is exacerbated by a series of threatening phone calls and written notes he receives. He's certain Dobbs is the source, but his caustic personality prevents him from winning any sympathy or support. Into the fray comes Paul Rice, a former student who's been hired to teach physical education, and he soon finds his loyalty torn between Dobbs and Malley as he becomes increasingly aware of the latter's personal torments. And Marlon Brando originally signed on for the role, but dropped out, and James Mason, when he realized that James Mason had the better role. And so there you go. And this was from Paramount, and it looked pretty good. And Roger Ebert said he gave the film two and a half stars out of 4 and wrote, "Child's Play, which is beautifully acted and very nicely directed, doesn't seem to know whether it's really about the supernatural or not. That doesn't matter to me. I'll watch it anyway." And then finally, Dieter, from VCI, the company that's put out Dark Star ever since 1980, is putting out The Naked Witch. I mean, look at this artwork. You had me at naked. So there you go. I don't know anything about that, but there you go. The Naked Witch. And VCI has probably been putting this out for 45 years on various forms of home video. But hey, we got it again. So there it is, The Naked Witch. And then we have the selling top 20 Blu-ray discs: Terrifier 3, The Wild Robot, Alien Romulus, Transformers 1, Deadpool and Wolverine, Beetlejuice, Godzilla -1, Reagan, Twisters, and Joker Folie à Deux, which I keep meaning to buy but never do. And then the top-selling 4K Ultra HD discs, I'm only giving you the top 10. Transformers 1 is number 1. Terrifier 3 is number 2. The Searchers is number 3. You go Warner Archive. When has a Warner Archive disc been at number 3?
Made the top 10. Nice.
Made the top 10. Number 3. That means their first 4K is selling like gangbusters, which means George Feltenstein has the ammunition he needs to go to David Zaslav and say, "I have 25,000 movies I want to release in 4K. Can I do it, sir?" And the answer is, yes, George, you can. Alien Romulus, Deadpool and Wolverine, Interstellar, Beetlejuice, Godzilla -1, The Grinch, and The Wild Robot. And that, my friend Dieter, is all the news that's fit to print this week, or the news that I deemed that I was interested in, so I'm sharing it with you.
That's nice to know, Rob. I think we had some super chats coming in, and then I would...
It's true. Oh, you know what? She says, "Thank you for the great..." This is from Lisa Stevenson from LIONSGATE. I guess she's watching this. It's kind of embarrassing to know I'm gushing over her while she's watching this, especially another man's wife. Something the Bible says you shouldn't do that. But I will anyway, because she is great and beautiful, and she works at LIONSGATE and sends us discs. By the way, she did ask for your address. Doesn't know I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. I'm just saying she did. She says, "Thanks for the great review." Hey man, it's not. I'm just an observer. You guys put out the product, and yes, Tarantino is not a fan of Atmos. Okay. All right, good to know. Okay. Oh, and guess what? Saw 11 hasn't gone into production, but hopefully Cliff Stevenson would do the BTS for that one. By the way, you want to hear an interesting bit of trivia about the Saw franchise? Because of their astute son, if I get this right, I think they did a bit on the disc, on the Saw 10 disc, about it was his son who asked, why isn't the logo the old Lionsgate logo with the...
Yeah, it
was because of
Cliff's
son. Yeah, why don't you put this on the front?
Because I saw it on Stir of Echoes again, and I remembered it. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Right?
Old logo.
Right? Well, it was probably originally on Stir of Echoes in the first place, because it came out.
Right.
But still, it's nice that the younger generation is astute enough to make those kinds of observations, and that the studio is smart enough to listen. So there you go. There you go, everybody. So that's the news. And you know what that means? Well, we have to go through the super chats, but then everybody wants to hear your live chat wrap up.
It's short, Rob. It's short. Don't worry.
200 Watt Studios says UFO also has Benedict Cumberbatch's mom. That is true. Her name is Wanda Ventum, and she plays Colonel Virginia Lake. And she becomes much more prominent in the latter half of the series because they had to shoot it over a long period of time, and certain actors came and went. But yes, that is very, very true. Apocalypse Cow says, do we know what happened to Kino Lorber's 4K of Shane? They announced it last year and it didn't come. And also, will we get Laura in 4K from Otto Preminger? Oh, I imagine we would. Laura, isn't that the movie they're watching in the Shawshank Redemption when she flips her hair back? Or no, that's Gilda, not Laura. Laura, Laura. Different movie. I'm thinking Gilda. Or am I not? Am I right? I don't know. I would imagine probably. I don't know. I knew Shane was coming out. I just figured it might take a while. Sometimes it takes a while to do the restoration. It's a question of elements and time but Shane is such an important film, and I think
we had to wait some months to live and die in LA. So
did we now? Did we have to wait to live and die in LA?
A little bit,
like an extra year.
Yeah,
Shane, it's only a year late. Pshaw. But look, I would say that the sales figures on the Searchers, which again we can't talk about how great. That disc is so great. I've watched that disc 3 times. 3 times. I know, right? So
you're the Western guy.
But I was never a Western guy. But between the Searchers, 7, and the 3 new 4K Tarantino discs, I mean, we're getting some really, really great stuff. And then, of course, all the stuff we're getting from the boutique labels. I can't wait to get that Daybreakers from Umbrella.
Yeah.
So. And then the international version of Life Force from Arrow. And they did ship me The Great Escape, and I don't know when it will be here, but they did ship it. So
perhaps next week. For the next
maybe I'll have it for there. All right, Dietz, you want to hit the live chat, buddy?
The first one is actually immediately for Europe. So previously on Let's Get Physical Media from Ron Enrique. Hey Rob, I just realized you don't have a sticker of Frederick Douglass on your microphone anymore. When did that happen?
So as everyone knows, I used to have the great American statesman, former slave and American statesman Frederick Douglass on this microphone because he was one of the great orators in American history. He was one of the great speech makers. Everybody should know his 4th of July speech. That microphone died. And I couldn't, I replaced it. Now, I know some people are going to say, are you ever going to put your expensive Shure microphone, which is right over here, on?
That's only for recording True Noir people.
And I've got 2 of those mics, and I keep saying, it's just, there's a soundboard, and it's a whole, I know.
Whole idea.
I know. So just to make it easier on me, I was able to just screw one off and screw this back on. So that is it is not a political statement that I got rid of the whole microphone disappeared. It just and I found out that sometimes and by the way, that mic almost lasted 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah.
I think I had replaced this back in November.
And it's the same one, Rob.
It's exact same mic. Exact same mic. It just died. The connections died. And apparently that happened. So no slight to Mr. Douglas or his next of kin. I'm still a huge fan of Frederick Douglass, and his 4th of July speech is one of the great speeches in American history. And if you've never heard it before, you should go read it because it's a good one. But yes, I'm still a huge Frederick Douglass fan. And there's a guy that used to send me all kinds of really cool stickers, like boxes of these cool stickers he
Yeah, I
printed.
remember, Rob. Yeah.
And I haven't heard from him again. I tried calling him and I wrote him a couple times, and I hope he didn't. Maybe he passed away. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Always a possibility.
yeah, because that Frederick Douglass sticker was sent to me. I got it. It was sent to me. So, yeah, it was.
So
It's kind of like what Major Chai Chai sent me in the last box, which and her Witch King of Agmar things. But boy, I do love this. I want to hang these all over my house. Like I said, I still do. But anyway,
so there you go, Ron. That's your explanation where the sticker has gone. Kevin Browning. I am proud of my Criterion Showa era Godzilla box set, but if they release it in 4K and it is expensive and I try to buy it, my wife will leave me. Walter Whitewalker. I don't care what they say. Mufasa was a good movie. The songs didn't need to be in it, but the story was there and it was fun. Okay. Eve says, hello, y'all. Love from the Philippines. Always nice to remember me. International audience. And Eve wants to know, Rob, did Rob watch The Skeleton Crew? I didn't. Rob, did you watch The Skeleton Crew? If I can back, or Rob, are you still there? Okay, we will get back to that question when Rob hopefully comes back. Altmetall, where is it? Eastern Condors, already out in Germany for many years on Blu-ray. Yeah, I got that too, but I had to get the Criterion one too. And Rob, luckily, has it too. Blazing Asian, first Laserdisc I had was the Mortal Kombat movie. Took me forever to realize I had to flip the disc. Yeah. And I remember Mortal Kombat having the UK Laserdisc, and it was censored considering the weapons that they use in Mortal Kombat. And so I had to get another one. What a White Walker. When I was a kid, we had a video disc player. Wasn't a laser disc, but not a single person I knew had one. I think I still have it somewhere. Yeah, VCR was probably a little bit, the prelude to DVD. GA saw 7 in IMAX on Friday. Excellent presentation. The ending still hits hard. GA gave away my Laserdisc player and disc when DVDs hit the market. Still kind of regret it, but space is an issue, as it is always. The Brujo, Hellboy the Crooked Man was pretty good, less spectacle, more broody Hellboy, and eerie settings. Totally agree. I was quite surprised with it. Jason Rockford, Happy New Year, guys, from Dublin, Ireland. RMB, been following you for the last few years, and now look forward to all your stuff. Sender Ray Chardoni, I love season 2 of Squid Game, as good as season 1. And Altmetall says, I already found the first season of Squid Game boring and never finished. That gets you the buzzer, Altmetall. Shosama, 85. Let me know. Ranma 1.5, the remake on Netflix, made some censorship changes. Huh? Okay.
Really?
That's nice. Yeah, but I don't know exactly what they changed considering censorship wise. Walter Whitewalker. Dark was a fantastic show. Pretty sure it was German. I saw the dub version, but the dubbing was pretty decent. And Albetal says, yes, Dark was German. Yes, and they made 1899 after this, which I like very much. Me too, Albetal. Unfortunately, I would have loved to get a second season for 1899.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Asian. Yeah. Let me just go back, Rob. One had a question here, and you weren't. Rob, Did you watch Skeleton Crew? I didn't. Did you watch Skeleton Crew?
I've only seen the first episode.
Okay.
I have to tell you, sitting down last night and watching, I've really been trying to reconnect with my physical media collection. Because
nice, Rob. Nice.
I know it's silly to say.
You will get there. You will get there.
I have so little time until I finish True Noir and finish it all up, because all I do is edit. And when I got these discs, because they were Lionsgate, I felt an obligation. I mean, I want to sit down and give them a fair shake. I didn't want, if somebody's going to send me the discs.
You wanted to report already something.
Yeah, no, I
Sunday.
wanted to watch them, and again, it was such a joyous. Between Seven, it's funny. The last couple weeks between watching, like I said, watching The Searchers, watching Seven, and watching the 3 Tarantino releases, and these are all coming from major. Both Seven and The Searchers come from Warner Brothers, and the Tarantino discs came from Lionsgate. These are not boutiques, these are studios, and with Lionsgate bringing over the boutique sensibility. To their did I mention the news? I don't know if I did say You're Next and The Third Man. I did say that.
Yeah.
But and again, I mean, I don't know if they're using the transfer that obviously Second Sight put out You're Next, and The Third Man is Studio Canal, but they have their deal with Studio Canal, and it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting to see studios putting that kind of commitment into their releases. And I think that's the future. And it's kind of like, look, if we see a massive contraction in the physical media landscape and it goes back to where Laserdiscs were, the studios were supporting, a lot of the studios were really doing some great, MGM did some great releases. And of course, George Feltenstein was at MGM when they were doing these great Laserdisc releases. So as long as we have people
and Pioneer
like
themselves.
Yeah, and as long as people like Lisa and George Feltenstein are at the studios, I'm really curious to see what Sony is going to start doing. I mean, look, one of my grail, I want Mary Poppins and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I want those. I mean, the fact that Disney's Movie Club released them, that was it. That was all we got. When they used to be, big box sets on Laserdisc. Let's hope that we see more of the studios jumping into that fray. As long as the market stays robust, and there's a lot of young people jumping into wanting to collect things, and like with Lionsgate putting out really nice collectible works. I mean, I know some people didn't dig the Stir of Echoes artwork, but it's not like Stir of Echoes had this amazing key art that we were missing. I thought it was pretty cool, but it wasn't fucking Poltergeist or fucking Lost Boys.
It certainly wasn't on that level.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, yeah. That is really I think the pinnacle of bad covers.
Bruh.
It's really the top of the tops, I would say.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've seen all this key art, and a lot of these, like Kino Lorber will include, or Vinegar Syndrome especially, they'll include the key art as a reversible sleeve, which I love that. But I like to see what Second Sight is like doing with I like that the cover of the box is bleeding Samantha Agar with the blood, and if you know the movie, it's like, that's an awesome image to put on the cover. I like, look, I don't know what Vinegar Syndrome was thinking about the Keep. I mean, I love Vinegar Syndrome.
Rob, you had to make it fit into your headcanon. It's just unfinished as the movie is. You had to make it fit into your headcanon. That's what Vinegar Syndrome was thinking with the Keep. It wasn't just finished. I made it fit in my headcanon.
That was some low-level executive's notes after reading the script, is what that was. Not good. All right, back to you, sir.
So there you go. Rob has only seen Skeleton Crew because he
only the first episode.
He watched Physical Media instead. Blazing Asian. I understood Bane perfectly in Nolan's Batman movie. He was challenging that doctor to a rap battle, and I understood everything. Okay,
it's the greatest thing ever.
Blue Sunrise. I listen to you guys in the car all the time while I'm working. It's nice to know. Bad weather. Considering Eastern Condors, and I told you there's a little bit of animal cruelty in that. I hate animal cruelty, and I can see they cut it out of the movie, and it makes no difference. So that snake had to die for nothing. It's a no-go for me. I can understand that. Razorburn. Dieter, you like Einstürzende Neubauten?
I do too.
I know about the band, but not really a fan. I don't have anything actually from them. Altmetall informs us, Rob, City of Darkness, Twilight. Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In. City of Darkness, the German title. City of Darkness is actually the name of the book, which is the movie is based on.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's a manga. Is it manga or novel?
Oh, nice.
By the way,
Okay.
have you watched that?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Bro.
It's a blast.
It's
a blast.
so good.
Sam was still doing it, Rob. Sam was still doing it. You know? So many
Twilight
years.
of the Warriors Walled In is one of the great.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny? Okay, Twilight of the Warriors, Kill, and Boy Kills World.
Rob, they were in my one of my three favorite movies. I did a little bit of Instagram posts where I put my favorite movies of the year, and they were in the action section. Those three movies, certainly.
All three of those
Kill.
movies. Those movies should have like John Wick. John Wick is the porno version of John Wick, apparently. Why John Wick, another Lionsgate franchise?
Yeah.
Why do those films not have the John Wick love? I mean, Boy Kills World, wacky, I understand, but Kill is bananas.
And so many good laughs with Boy Kills World. The jokes were great.
Great, and Twilight of the Warriors. I mean, that movie is dope.
Yeah, and Kill had the perfect spot for the title when the title sequence appeared. You know, it was the perfect time to now say everything goes.
I mean, here's what I don't understand. Like all three of those movies, Boy Kills World had no marketing. Like how do they not know? Like you have John Wick, the action franchise, plowing the way theatrically, and how do you not put out Kill with a great marketing campaign, and Boy Kills World was basically thrown out? You know, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I was a fan, perhaps not many.
And Twilight of the Warriors was Well Go, right? It was Well Go USA.
Yeah, Well Go USA, correct.
That film should have been a huge theatrical. But again, it's subtitled and whatever. It's just...
and it's more in the Asian market, Rob. I don't know how the movie did in Asia. You know.
Yeah, but it's so
China.
good. It's so beautifully made too. It's a banger, dude. Banger. I mean, you'd think following on the heels of there's so many of these great. What do we say?
And like I told you, Rob, I didn't know
got
about
Asian girls with Asian girls with guns, martial arts, and sex.
Yeah.
Some not enough sex, but the rest of them, doesn't matter.
For that, you must go to, Women on the Run. You know,
Women
they
on
will
the
get
Run.
everything. Your erotic stuff, everything is in Women on the Run. Everything.
I mean, why has America become so boring? My God. I mean, that's why manga has totally eclipsed the American comic industry. It's very sad, very sad.
Yeah.
As long as we can get this stuff on physical media, which we can. That's why it's great.
That's why it's great. Exactly. Another question from Bert Vedder. Any fans of the TV show Lost? I watched it during the pandemic and recently had its 20th anniversary. There has been a documentary made called Getting Lost, which I haven't seen. And I was quite a fan, even with, not many were happy with the ending, but it was the pinnacle of mystery box. Well Lost. Castle Grayskull. No, I'm Canadian, but my parents are Italian. But you're not connected to John Campia in any way. I hope so. I hope so.
By the way, can I just speak? I watched some of the last. I was in Bulgaria producing The Hills Run Red, and we were like late night shooting in the woods, and I was like watching Lost on my phone. Trying to. But I have to say
because you wanted to know how the show continues, Rob, because the cliffhanger were always great.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Look, I really loved Lost. I got really into it. I mean, I watched the first season. I really liked it, but I thought seasons like 3, 4, 5, I was completely immersed until I realized Lost is the greatest betrayal of audience trust in the history of TV. I used to think it was X-Files, which I loved. I loved the X-Files until the movie came out. And then I realized you motherfuckers don't know anything about what you're doing. You have nowhere to go. You haven't figured this out. I was giving you all the credit in the world. Lost, however, those people, when they find themselves in the afterlife, they're going to be in purgatory forever for that fucking show because they had one question to answer. which was, what is the island? What is it? And they never did. Rather, they have a golden butt plug at the bottom of that island, and that's what you're supposed to take away. They never asked you, they never answered that question. So fuck those guys. And I wonder, who was responsible for that show? Huh. Who was responsible for that show? Where did the people that did Lost, where did they wind up?
The one JJ
What are they
that you
doing now?
that is not on your nice list.
No. So Lost, it was really interesting. And for the record, here's my Lost ending. Can I tell you my Lost ending? Here's my Lost ending. The island was God's, literally, go with me on this one, is God's fingerprint. It was him signing his creation. So call it what you want. It was God putting his thumbprint, and the island itself is a crucible. And if human beings find themselves on that island and they manage to get themselves off, everything that's happening on that island is something that the people that are on that island learn, and they take with them back into the world that God created. I'm not even religious, but I always love God things. So the human beings that make it off the island, their experiences, they're supposed to take back to humanity, and through their works, make humanity better. Now, I know that's a little metaphysical and all that, and I have no problem saying that it's God or call it aliens, but I would like to say it was God's thumbprint on the creation of the world. And the island is a crucible to make people more resilient. And it was the one place on the planet where your experiences have direct divine intervention, and you become a better person. That's what the island is in my head canon. But then they went and fucked it up and did the last season of Lost. So fuck you guys. Fuck that show. And fuck everybody involved with it.
There you go, Bert. Paul Santella. Nosferatu was the biggest disappointment I have had in the theater this year. And this was the super chat from Bert Vedder that we forgot.
Wait a minute, it's only the 12th day. It's only the 12th day of January, bruh.
Yeah. And he said, hello, Rob and Dieter. I just purchased the TV show Lost on Blu-ray. I wish it was on 4K, though. Are you fans? After 20 years, I'm still hooked. Rob answered that question.
Wait a minute.
To the full extent.
The fact that you only get Lost in Blu-ray is just another way that the producers of that show have disappointed the audience. Let me just put it to you that way.
Come on, Rob. It wasn't even 4K time back then. Diggy Holmes. I always forget about the Rurouni Kenshin movies on Netflix. Those are the best new.
Dieter?
Yeah.
I just got a phone call.
Yeah.
I just got a phone call from the director of The Hills Run Red, Dave Parker. And he wants to say something. Dave, I leave it up to you. Hold on, let me turn up the volume. I'm in trouble. Dave, go ahead.
Watching Lost on the set of our film while we're making it. This was your producerial duties. That's what I'm gathering. That, and you can, come up with the preferred ending of Lost while we're on set.
Well, I was always paying attention to what you were doing. You're a fine director, Dave, and The Hills Run Red came out wonderfully well. I mean, you were handling it so well that I had to fill my time. I couldn't just flirt with Gabriella.
You had final cut almost.
We won't go into that here.
How are you, Dave? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm good.
Everyone, this is Dave Parker, the director of The Hills Run Red, which is currently still available at Scream Factory, but it's about to go out of print. It is, in fact, the most self-indulgent Blu-ray ever made, with incredible special features that Dave and I produced during the pandemic, which, by the way, was nominated for a Rondo Award. Best
and didn't win.
Well, Dave, it was up against Scream Factory's. I mean, it was up against Second Sight's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, okay, we'll give it to him.
I didn't even vote for us.
I know you're watching Lost. You don't vote for us. I mean, come on. No. No, I'm good. I'm glad everyone's good. It's nice. We gotta do a show soon.
Let's do another Midnight Metal. Dave
Yeah, we gotta do
Parker,
a
the
show soon.
star of Midnight Metal, got to come on. We got to keep people happy.
Yeah, but I'll let you go. I just wanted to give you a little shit.
Okay,
On the air.
and I made sure you gave it to me live on the air in front of the world.
Oh, I can see.
Well, Dave, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for calling in.
Of course. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see everyone soon. We'll do a show very soon.
All right, man.
All right. Bye.
I'll talk to you later. All right, Dieter.
But Rob, isn't that what a producer should be? Not interfering with the director's work. So you are not interfering. You know?
That's exactly right.
You are not interfering with Dave's work.
You know, I was just chilling in Video Village. Now, to be fair, to be honest, movie sets are not exactly the most fast-paced things in the world, and we were shooting for weeks at night in the forest, in the where the farmhouse set was, where Wilson Wyler Kincannon's lair was, and you know, by the way, you should go if you haven't seen Hills Run Red. Go see it. Dave actually did do a great job directing the movie, and it's got Bill Sadler, who, by the way, you just reminded me of something. So I'm watching Seven, and I forgot. This is so much fun. Richard Portnow, the actor, who, by the way, is the announcer the announcer of True Noir, was in Seven.
Oh.
So, you know, more self-serving. If I can't be self-serving on this show, who am I? I mean, I get but again, The Hills Run Red, if you haven't seen it, it is available from Scream Factory, and I think when it goes out of print, they probably won't do it again. But Dave and I did work during the pandemic, and I will say this, not to toot our own horns, but if you want to have an understanding of how a low-budget indie horror film, I mean, it became a Warner Brothers movie, but it began as an indie film. And it's funny, I was having a conversation with a mutual friend of ours named Rob G the other day, and I was talking about the fact that the big success, I think, of Hills Run Red is Dave Parker's conception of Babyface, the killer, the masked killer, one of the most unique masked killers. I think the reason that the movie sold to Warner Brothers and why it worked as well as it did was really because of Dave's vision of that character. He gave us a new version of that killer, the idea of the babyface killer, and he had such a strong image of what that was, even back to the proof of concept, which you can see. We did a proof of concept trailer. It's on the disc. Everything's on the disc. So if you like indie horror and you want to make indie horror, or you just like indie horror, the Hills Run Red Blu-ray is, I think, an invaluable resource to any up-and-coming filmmakers. And I think that's one of the great things about the film is Scream Factory, and because Warner Brothers couldn't deliver something and they gave Scream Factory Hills Run Red instead, we were able to deliver something. The movie's a lot of fun, but the movie combined with the special features become sort of I think, in a way, film school in a box for anybody who's interested in making indie horror. So that's my way of, once again, shilling for Scream Factory. Go buy our movie, The Hills Run Red, which, by the way,
which hopefully there are some left.
This one. I know I bought a few, but as I showed everybody, here's the great cover. There's Dave Parker's babyface killer. This is a great poster. I wish they had a real one sheet of this. This artwork's terrific. And look at how many special features. Yeah, more special features than you can shake a stick at. But anyway, if I can't be self-serving, if I can't promote my latest project, by the way, True Noir is currently available at truenoir.co. The 4th episode came out on Friday. And go get The Hills Run Red at Scream Factory right now. Back to you.
Okay. Dickie Holmes. I always forget about the Rurouni Kenshin movies on Netflix. Those are the best new samurai I've seen since Blade of the Immortal. Totally agree. And I'm still hoping that we will get the last 2 on Blu-ray, because the other 3 I have, but the last two, they are out in Japan, and they did put out a big Rurouni Kenshin box set, but of course, no English subtitles. Otherwise, I would have gotten that set. But I hope the last two movies in the series at some point will get a Blu-ray release, because it was a prequel and a final movie. They were totally great. Then Smith, hopefully a cat in the bag that turns out to be a Schnäppchen. If you can combine that, a Schnäppchen and a cat in the bag, and it's a surprisingly good movie, that of course is the triple feature. The Brujo, I'd love a Strike Back box set from Cinemax. Yeah, that was a great series. I loved that too. Marco, Deadpool and Wolverine was boring and the jokes were not funny at all. That's what you get, or something like that.
I agree. We park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay.
No. The Brujo, Joker in number 4, considering the top 10. Joker, folie à deux. Joker in number 4 because people are grinding the disc into powder for the studio execs to snort as punishment. Biggest energy. I love Nosferatu. I think this is Robert Eggers' masterpiece. Okay. Marco then continues. I've never really found Deadpool humor funny, but I did love the vibe of the first one. Second one didn't have that, and third had no story. I wasn't one that got swept up in the hype like a child, but I was totally delivered, and I watched it with a friend of mine on Friday, and he had a blast. As Jäger, as a massive Dune fan, like I read the book 4 times, I was massively disappointed in Dune 2. It didn't stick the landing. Okay. Eucalyptus, I'm glad that Deeds stopped drinking room temperature Coke. It was never room temperature. Alice and Ace Jäger again. Anyone want a Hong Kong action classic? Get the new Eastern Condors from Criterion, which Rob and I already did. Victor Fontaine, I got the Japanese Godzilla -1 collector's box. The movie disc has English subtitles, only the bonus features did not have them. Victor, if you bought the Japanese one when it came out, it was the first on the market.
Yep.
It didn't have English subtitles.
But it was so
the one
successful.
That you bought was probably the one that you bought was in the same box set gotten re-released in the States with English subtitles. But if you bought like me, first one in Japan, it didn't.
Yeah, well, it was so successful that they brought it to America and did that.
Exactly,
so that's why.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. But that was the reason why I couldn't put it in the top 10, because mine doesn't have English subtitles. Walter White Walker, What We Do in the Shadows is the best sitcom ever made. It is certainly a great one.
Pretty great. The movie's great, and so's the show.
Yeah.
The show is, it might be the horror. It's the equivalent of MASH, the way that the original MASH film was, and then the MASH TV series. The What We Do in the Shadows
Good comparison.
is the horror sitcom version of MASH. The movie was good, but the sitcom might be even better.
Totally. Finity, the timey-wimey-limey. Rob also labors under the delusion that Deckard is a human, deliberately ignoring Ridley Scott. When it comes to directors,
oh, for fuck's sake! First, that's Ridley Scott retconning decades after the movie comes out. If first of all, let's all be clear. Everybody who's a Blade Runner fan, everyone knows that Rick Deckard is in fact a human. If he's a replicant, the movie doesn't mean anything. The whole point of Blade Runner is that these artificially created replicants, in fact, do have souls. And that's the whole point, is that Rick Deckard is there to recognize this. If he's a replicant too, he doesn't learn anything. He has a soul from the very beginning. The movie is all about him recognizing that artificial people, artificial beings, even though they're created by humans, are instilled with a soul. And if Deckard's a replicant, then the movie doesn't mean anything. So let's get it clear. Ridley Scott is an old man retconning his shit. That's why he made Prometheus.
And for me, just wanted to say, when someone like perhaps James Cameron says the theatrical version of T2 is the director's cut or is his preferred version, doesn't matter to me. I watch the extended cut. For me, that's my preferred version. What the director thinks is the version that you should watch doesn't mean anything.
The thing is, the idea that Deckard is a replicant is just, it's an idea that seems cool. Like, yeah, he's a like it's admittedly, it's a Philip K. Dick concept, and I understand why it seems cool. But explain to me, if Rick Deckard is a replicant, what is Blade Runner actually about? What is it about? Also, the fact that if he's a replicant and Rachel's a replicant, then they can run off together into replicant world. But the fact that Rick Deckard has understood that replicants have a soul means he can love Rachel, which is the whole fucking point of the goddamn movie. Because she is alive. She does feel. She can love. And Blade Runner 2049 proves their love can lead to, spoiler alert, a child, which is the ultimate. I mean, Battlestar Galactica deals with the same thing. Metropolis in 1927 deals with kind of those issues. That is the point, in my mind. I could be wrong.
For me, Rob,
I'm not, but I could be. And you're free to write it and tell me why.
Rob, I see it a little bit from a different perspective. If he were a replicant, why isn't he physically on the same level as the other ones?
Of course, right.
It doesn't.
Why can Leon beat the shit out of him?
It doesn't fit at all. Yeah,
no,
it doesn't fit at all.
You know what? It just is it's a seemingly cool idea. It's a very surface idea that has nothing beneath it. Everyone's like, yeah, he's a replicant. That just seems cool because people think it's a Twilight Zone twist and they've never read a goddamn book. Come on, man.
And it goes on, Rob. It goes on. Here with Marco. Yeah.
I need to start drinking like alcohol when I do. I got lined up. Then I could be more myself. But my God, man, this is a tough one. Lost, Deckard's a replicant. Man, that's tough.
You can't believe what I just read here. Everything here on the live chat. Marco, have never seen Face Off.
Okay, WTF, dude.
Yeah, exactly. What a White Walker. We should do a meetup on a cruise and do a live show with Rob and Deez. And Mastermind, MMA Media, Rob and Dieter, legendary duo. And Timen says, we are a fun community with the live chat. And yes, we are. This was the live chat. Read out, Rob. From
Was this fun? Was this fun for you? It's always fun. You guys are the best.
What people are saying.
Come on now. We're here to bring happiness. I mean, ultimately this show is about happiness and joy. Joy to you.
As much as we can bring to the people.
Come for the festival, yeah? No, it's all about. We've got some super chats. People have fired in some more stuff. Major Chai gifted 5 Burnettwork memberships. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that, Major Chai. On your birthday, you're giving other people presents. So nice. Thank you.
Rob,
who do you want for the next James Bond? Mielis asks this question. I really liked that Richard Madden, Rob Stark. After I saw The Bodyguard TV series, I really liked Rob Stark. I thought he was a great choice. I know that Barbara Broccoli was talking about him. Maybe that ship has sailed, but I really liked him. I mean, the people they talk about. Here's my problem. Henry Cavill would certainly make a great James Bond. I loved, and we both loved, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah,
I thought he was great as that. But I need to believe that James Bond is as long as I can believe that he could beat the shit out of somebody. That's what I need. I need somebody that brings that kind of gravitas to it. So I don't have a,
perhaps an unknown face.
Yeah.
More.
I mean, somebody. But here's one of my problems. with movie stars in general today. You know, when you looked at the movie, like John Wayne was a handsome man, but he wasn't like he was a handsome man, but he looked like a real human being. He was a handsome human being, but he didn't look like he walked off some fashion Abercrombie and Fitch ad. He looked like a real person. And I think that, you know, sometimes people are too pretty to play certain roles. Like Pierce Brosnan was a little too pretty to play James Bond. It worked. So was Roger Moore. Yeah. So when you look at Sean Connery, very handsome man, but he was very manly. He wasn't. You believe he could beat the shit out of people. Daniel Craig was the same way. You believe that Daniel Craig, and we saw in the introduction of Casino Royale, in that bathroom scene when he gets in that fight, you're like, that guy can kick the shit out of people. That's what I want from James Bond. I want somebody that I can believe can beat the shit out of people, but at the same time knows the proper temperature to serve Bollinger or knows what caviar to eat. You've got to have that whole thing, and I don't know if we have that. James Bond, remember, is a naval commander, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm not convinced that the character of James Bond can credibly exist today.
Yeah.
So,
do you think, Rob, with the ending of No Time to Die, that they really perhaps shot himself a little bit too much in the foot?
I thought the whole movie shot itself in the foot.
Yeah, I know,
but,
I know, Rob. But especially with that ending.
Yeah, I mean that movie ends. James Bond dies, and at the end of the credits, it says James Bond will return.
Yeah,
and I look. I think that there are fictional characters that don't necessarily translate, you know, into the modern age unless you have a really deft touch. And with James Bond, we've seen so many different iterations of Bond now, from the time he debuted on screen in 1962. You know, it's now 2025. If they start making a James Bond movie this year, we're not going to get it till 2027. We used to get a James Bond movie up until
every
1989. We got a James Bond movie basically every 2 years from 1962 to 89. And it was interesting to watch. Bond was a trendsetter. Then there was a period, and then in 73, when Live and Let Die came out, Bond was blaxploitation movies were popular. Bond was following. He instead of being a trendsetter, the Roger Moore movies were following trends with Live and Let Die and Man with the Golden Gun, because you had blaxploitation and martial arts movies. Yeah. And then we returned to a different kind of Bond in 77 with a full-blown fantasy epic, which kind of went back to You Only Live Twice. It's a remake or whatever. But even You Only Live Twice had a little bit of grounding. But Spy Who Loved Me was like, it's an undersea city, and we've got all this crazy stuff. And then by the time you get to, 81, Spy Who Loved, For Your Eyes Only returned to the... But after that... like Bond became untethered and was just a kind of your, and look, I love James Bond. I do. And I'm critical only because I love Bond. But the franchise has spent more time following trends or trying to keep up than it has being what it did in the 60s. I mean, James Bond in 62, 63, 64, and 65, what it did was it showed the greatest generation that founded the middle class in America in the 50s, when most people didn't have passports and weren't traveling around the world anymore. That James Bond, it was the Playboy, like literally Playboy magazine. It was that whole lifestyle. It showed the middle class a world that they would never visit. And it became wish fulfillment, and it was a literary adaptation. It was very different. Kennedy's Camelot was all part of that. I don't know if James Bond can work today, because the problem is the people that we're fighting against they want to bring a world that existed in the 14th century, or you've got the Russians again, or the Chinese. I mean, we've been fighting them since forever. How does James Bond, how do you make a debonair secret agent work in today's world of asymmetric warfare, of terrorism, of just, I don't know. I don't know if you can make James Bond relevant to today, especially because people be like, he's just fighting for white colonizing culture in the UK. It's like, well, at the end of the day, there's something to be said for enlightenment and reformation. That's all I can say. I don't mean to get political, but can James Bond, the real question is, it's not who should play the next James Bond. The question is, can James Bond exist in a world where he's been following Jason Bourne, he's been following John Wick, he's been following a lot of other people, and the last 5 James Bond movies, one of them worked. Skyfall made a lot of money, but it was a movie about our character failing. Skyfall is a movie where James Bond fails from the very beginning to the very end of the film. And by definition, is that what you want to watch in an action hero? He fails repeatedly. As a matter of fact, I think Skyfall has one of the most, if I can opine, the scene where they put the shot glass on top, arguably one of the most beautiful women who's ever existed on this planet, and they have to shoot it off the top of her head, and she ends up getting killed. A woman that was trafficked, a woman that was abused since she was 12 years old, that James Bond doesn't save, was one of the worst moments in the entire franchise for me. And that might be, I know Skyfall made $1 billion, but that to me was the day James Bond died. And I was there in England. I went to the UK with Terrier and Charlie de Lazarica. But anyway, see, this is why I need to drink on this show, man. I just can't. I just got it. So wait, what were we talking about?
Who about next James Bond?
Yes, that was
from Richard Madden to Skyfall. Sucks.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Terrible.
Had to happen.
Physical Media Mayhem says, "Hey Rob, are you bringing Paul from Twin Flicks on the show anytime? It'd be cool to hear from him and his thoughts on physical media. We got to have Paul come on. He's wanted to come on for a long time. There, by the way, Twin Flicks is doing great work doing compare and contrasting between Blu-ray releases and 4K releases. And they doing great work over there. Yeah. So a Black Adder Not I, who's a member of the channel, says, have I missed the Cronenberg Second Sight talk?
Yes.
You did.
It was
Does that mean you're drinking warm Coke over that? Well, I've got here. I'll drink more water. So yes, go into that. But I'm always happy to talk more. Walter White Walker says Galactic Gals group on Facebook, fantastic art. I'll go check that out. Okay. Our friend Thomas Logan says Villeneuve. I kept it ambiguous because the truth about Deckard's origin isn't as interesting as the mystery. He may be human. He may be a replicant. Look, I would say he knows that Deckard's... I love Blade Runner 2049. Deckard's not a replicant. I know he had to keep it that way because he didn't want to upset Ridley Scott or whatever, who Ridley Scott came to that conclusion later. You cannot tell me Ridley Scott thought that when he was making Blade Runner in 82, because he didn't, because that's not what the movie's about. But yeah, that's just a dumb idea. And everyone's like, he's a replicant. Was he? Okay, if he's a replicant, what does that mean to the story? Explain to me. Nobody ever does. They're like, he's a replicant. I'm like, okay, that's lame and stupid. But tell me, how does that affect this? How does that affect, the story being told? Anyway. Let me just check and see. We might have some tips that came in, which are different. Tips come in a different way. So let me just make sure. Jim Topper says, hey, Rob, just curious. Oh, that was a tip. Oh, he sent it to me both ways. If you're going to invite Twin Flicks on the show sometime, he really knows his shits. He says shits. I don't know if we want to hear about his shits, but I know what you mean. And it'd be fascinating to hear him explain how he does his comparisons. I love those guys. I mean, I've loved them for years now. And they do great stuff. I mean, I really like and also they're getting people, they've talked. I know that they've reached out to George Feltenstein too. So hopefully, it's really interesting. Studio people like George, he can't just randomly come on the show, or I can't just call him on the phone anymore because it has to be cleared. And I get that. I mean, corporations. But if you have, it's amazing. We love how much have I promoted Warner Archive on the show? I love Warner Archive.
Rarely, Rob.
And I love George Feltenstein, and because he's look, as I've said, we need a national film czar, and it should be George Feltenstein. As a matter of fact, you know what? Say what you want about Donald Trump, but if there's any president in all of history that would actually appoint a national film czar, maybe we should start a letter writing campaign to the White House, and we should be like, President Trump, George Feltenstein is the one man in Hollywood who is the most capable, the guy who knows more about cinema than anybody. We need a national film czar to make sure that all of our film history is preserved. And we need him to be, why shouldn't there be a presidential appointee, a national film czar? How cool would that be?
Get that letter out to Donnie.
I know, and this is not somebody, I don't want a change.org petition. I want a letter writing campaign. We should organize this. Of course, George Feltenstein's like, please don't, because they're going to fire me at Warner Brothers. You can't do that. So, and he's right, because you don't want him to lose his job. But if there is a national film czar position, which there should be, what we should do is push for that position. Don't say anything about George. And once they decide to do it, then the letter writing campaign goes in, because that way David Zaslav would want to, make a friend of Trump, President Trump, be like, I've got the guy for you. So that's you got to create the position first, and then play politics later to fill it.
So you are the master of puppets behind this.
Yeah, that's me. I'm really a Machiavellian. If I'm so smart, why aren't I rich? I'm rich in spirit. I got personality.
In spades.
So, where are we at now?
I would have one thing to show, but we are already long.
No, you got to show it. Come on, dude. We're keeping people happy. There are people there. No, this is a sad city.
Yeah.
This show can go on like for as long as we want. You have one. Yeah, you've spent the show talking about this one last special thing you wanted to show.
Yeah, because I didn't expect it to arrive, Rob. I ordered it, and it said, like I told you in last week, it's in stock, but it didn't get any shipping notice. Then I went to their website, and it said, it will go out in February. And I didn't expect anything because I didn't get a shipping notice. And then on Thursday, it came, Rob. And I was totally surprised about it.
Yeah, but some things, you know what, I just want to point out, if you come early, it's not always a good thing.
No. But I was really, really surprised because I wanted to get
I'm here all week.
The normal version of it. But then I stumbled across that there are two other versions, and I decided to get the smackdown in the middle. So I got this one, Rob, here.
What?
I don't know if I can show you.
Dude, is that another, speaking of LIONSGATE, is that another Tim Palin Hunger Games book that you spent $800 on?
It is a book, but not 800. Can you read it, Rob? It says Arcane here. It says Arcane.
Oh my God! You're trying to show me up. You're trying to show me up, aren't you?
Finally,
you're trying to show me up.
Finally, after you showed every week the damn 4K, and I was really nervous, Rob, because the sides of the packages are a little bit damaged,
bunged,
but it's really nicely packaged. So we put that out here, and this is the portfolio edition. So this, wait, I need to turn it around.
Wow, I'm getting really excited.
It's not as heavy as the Tim Palin book, but it is heavy. So this is it.
Lisa doesn't know about the Tim Palin book that your love of that.
So we got the styrofoam on every side of it. So now I can put it out.
Wow, look at that.
So this is the portfolio edition, Rob.
Wow, dude, I'm getting all of verklempt over this. What? Wow.
So this is the roll. Let me just put the package.
By the way, books, people, are physical media, just so you know.
Exactly. So this is the outside, a little bit like Jinx
Wow.
has gone to town on it.
That's really cool.
Just where was I need to find the opening, which is here. So what we got in that box, room. First, we got vinyl, Rob.
Really?
Vinyl in it, with the soundtrack.
Wow, is that like matte finish? Oh, look at that. Gatefold.
Yeah, exactly. Song.
Is it colored Is it colored vinyl?
Correct, Rob.
Bro, come on. Where'd you get this from?
This was the company was, Rob. I need to check that. That was only available on their website. Inside editions.
Yeah.
They put it out because you can get the art book just separately, but this is the portfolio.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Green
Wow, dude.
Vinyl.
That is some dope ass shit right there.
Yeah. And there were even a more expensive one, Rob, that came with 2 figures of Y and Jinx as book holders.
Wow.
But that was even over my price range. And I
bet that it was less expensive than Tim Palin's Hunger Games book, though.
Yeah. It was less. No, the bigger one was actually around Tim Palin. So this is actually
but still less.
How it looks inside.
Wow.
So then we got here that little folder because this is the portfolio edition, and there are some sketches inside of the show, and everything between the sketches you have that kind of paper in between.
Oh, I love that. Wow, look at that.
No.
CinemaScope drawings. 23901.
Exactly.
Those are awesome, dude.
And the last one, to be careful here. A little bit of pilled over here. So those were in that separate book here. A little bit careful. Put that aside here. Where do I have some room here? Okay, put that here. And then, coup de grace, the art book that you can buy separately. But this is in green. Normally it's in pink. The art book for...
Wow, that's hardcover?
Kane.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So is this an overview of the entire animated series? Does this go into the whole...
Yeah.
Wow.
Character design, how it fits with the game.
Show me that page. Show me are those storyboards?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really nice. I bet that smells really good. That smells really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I bet it does. It's got that great. Yeah.
So, and there's a little bit.
Man, there's
more
nothing
stuff.
better than printed stuff that. I know. Oh.
And wait, there is a little bit more in here. You've got here the progress day, which were the program for what was happening in the streets. Wait, I show it completely. Here, I have to be careful. It's heavy. So there is stuff inside the book, even. No, the plan peeled over. So this is one. And inside you have some parts. Let me see if I can find one. Here, I have to be careful. Where you can fold out the pages like this one. So it's really. You can
Wow,
fold
that's
it.
dope, dude. Like, scooch it over and
Fold it
show us the
out.
whole thing. Can you
Yeah,
show it?
it's not that easy, Rob. It's
Kind of move it
really-
over. There we go. There. Wow, that's awesome.
No.
Lift it up a little bit. That's what she said. That's really cool.
So you've got some parts in the book where you can fold out the pages. And let me just see, there were more stuff in it. So just some, like I said, a lot of artworks with text about the show. It's 226 pages. Your
Wow.
Arcane Lover. And you can get just this art book in pink. There's a card in it. Here you got a blueprint of Piltover.
I've found that most of my favorite art is pink.
And here you got the crate from the second season, the Wanted poster. Jinx is in it. And here you got the
How long from the time you ordered that? How long did it take to get it?
I need to check, Rob, when I ordered, because I already ordered the pink one a long time ago, but it didn't arrive. It seems to be sold out, really tough to get. And then I stumbled across this edition, and it said in stock, and I said, okay, I will get the portfolio edition then. But I didn't get any shipping notice, and I wasn't expecting it to arrive at all. And here we have at the final page, we've got, just put it back, the map of Piltover.
Nice, man.
So this was my coup de grace this week, Rob. The Arcane art book in the inside portfolio.
That's really cool, dude. I mean, and remember, people forget that Let's Get Physical Media is a show that the books are included. It's funny.
Totally.
I have two things coming that I didn't even think about, but the third Marvel Micronauts omnibus, and you can't see it. I have a ridiculous collection of omnibuses, but my X-Men omnibus collection is the most ridiculous. And there's a new a new X-Men omnibus that I didn't get, the Extinction Agenda omnibus. And before the omnibuses came out, Marvel published regular hardcover editions of which I had bought in the 2000s, and they're now republishing things in omnibuses and putting much more stuff in them. And it's like all physical media, it's like, do I really need these things? Like, do I?
Yes.
I know. Look, we say the same question, but then you have existential crises. Like, I live in a state where what has happened in the last 6 days, make you realize that in an instant, you know what the funny thing about physical media is, or collecting it all is, like, for us, you think about the finite lifespan of a human being. And first of all, existence alone is amazing. Like, as Dr. Manhattan said, as Alan Moore wrote, Dr. Manhattan and Watchmen, the thermodynamic miracle of life. The idea that any of us exists at all in the infinitude of the cosmic nothingness is amazing. It's amazing. So once we're alive, we spend our time collecting other people's work that inspires us, rather than like we're toiling through lives of quiet desperation. But the idea is, our existence, we're supposed to enjoy it, and I think enjoying the work of other human beings, which, by the way, is all about, in a way, sharing the human existence, is, to a certain extent, We're doing this show to celebrate our excitement about other people's work.
Exactly.
Other human, the imagination, the ingenuity, whether it's actors, directors, writers, production designers, art directors, makeup and hair people, all the human beings that bring their talents together to create one movie. And we sit here and celebrate multiple movies, which means hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of people over the last 4 years we've done this show.
Yeah.
Which, in a way, I think is worthwhile. I do.
Certainly.
And the real question is, how much did you pay for that Tim Palin book compared to how much did you pay for the game?
Rob, if a fire broke out, I will not save my clothes, but the Tim Palin book just for you. I will get the Tim Palin book.
Okay,
out of here.
no. Look. We don't want to make light of what happened. But that Tim Palin book's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And when I was married,
not easy to handle, Rob, because I didn't know how big it was. I just ordered it, but I never looked at the measurements of the book.
I wish a girl would once say that about me, but unfortunately they can't.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I understand. Look, my ex-wife, she worked for Chayla Johnson, who used to work at LIONSGATE, and she did like original artwork for Stir of Echoes. And it was a whole different world. But she worked for Tim Palin, and I remember there was a book, and I forget what it was. It was like a wrapped.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Saw, but it came wrapped like it was wrapped meat from a supermarket. It came in the white foam thing, and it was, I forget what it was.
So Saw would be fitting for that, Rob.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was a Saw
another
thing.
LIONSGATE movie that would fit your description.
It was, now it's 2025. It was 20 years ago was the last great year of my marriage. So what can I say? I mean, and by the way, I take all responsibility. Remember, I told my wife when we got married, it's always my fault. And all husbands should say that, but But anyway, but yes, but still. Look, at the end of the day, I don't know. It's all good. We are here to celebrate the work of the people we love. All those talented people.
Luckily, it got through customs seemingly unchecked, Rob. I didn't have to pay any customs. Luckily.
If you buy something from Umbrella, or let's say somebody from the States, perhaps from LIONSGATE, sends you a package, do you have to pay customs on that?
It depends, Rob. It depends how thorough the customs really checks. Because if you send something to me, it's better. Considering Umbrella, all packages that I got, I had to pay customs at the moment. Vinegar Syndrome, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends a little bit on luck. Because it's best if you declare it's just a gift. And the value, even if it's way up there, put a low value on it, even if the value would probably $100, just say, well, it's only 10, in the declaration, if you would send something. Otherwise, they will know how it's worth, because
right.
on the worth of the titles, they do their math, how much do I need to pay for the title. And that's why I love to order from Amazon.com. They immediately charge me with the custom tax, so I have no deal with customs on that end. And sometimes I get a little bit money even back from Amazon when it was too much,
Okay, well, that's good.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think
unfortunately, Rob, we had back some years back, we had a little bit of a limit what you can send custom free, but that went away, unfortunately, Rob.
Well, look, we've done a 3-hour show, 3-hour plus show. We even started on time today.
Certainly.
Look, this cheered me up. It's
on
been
time, not on budget, Rob.
On time and not on budget.
Not on budget.
No, first of all, this show has never been about being on budget, ever.
Never. Never.
There's never been a
Always
budget.
in the red.
There's
Always in the red.
how many? We're in year 4, right? Or year 5?
Yeah, exactly. We started November 2020. November
Okay,
20
November
was the start.
2020. So no, we're in year 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this show has never been about being on any budget at all.
No.
As a matter of fact, it's been about subverting. If you have a budget in your house about how much you can spend, this show is not for you.
No.
No, this is, and we're enablers. We're like that song Pusher. I'm your pusher. Is that Ice-T? We're those guys. It's like the answer is always yes, and at the end of the day,
because if I would have gotten already the art book in the pink edition, I probably wouldn't have got the more expensive portfolio edition one. But here, I was lucky to get the portfolio edition without having received any shipping notice. So I was totally surprised when I got it this week.
Well,
and I was happy camper.
Therein lies the entire philosophy of this show. And we have a study. Our audience doesn't grow that much. It's been growing lately, as more people get into physical media. But I would say I want to give a shout out to this audience, the people that watch this show, that like our kind of demented behavior, and that my kind of crazy as our letter writer.
Douche from Saarbrücken.
No, the letter writer from who wrote about Feed, who was watching with his 15-year-old niece, blood-sucking freaks. I mean, I would normally call child services on you, but God bless you, sir. I hope she loved it. But anyway, Ralphus, you know what I'm saying. But, everybody, in all seriousness, everybody who watches this show, thank you very much for being, we have a great audience of people that put up with our antics, but are fans, supporters, and, ultimately at the end of the day, I understand this is a show about luxury goods.
Yeah,
totally. Buying physical media is a luxury goods show. And, however, our luxury goods are the culmination of the imagination and the abilities of many, many, many talented people. And I never want anyone to forget that what went on in Los Angeles this week, and by the way, is still going on. Many of the people that create the things that you love and have loved for most of your life, many of those people have suffered this week. And they themselves, no matter how great their work is or how talented they were, some of those people have lost everything. And I don't want that to be forgotten. And while we're here celebrating and trying to bring some smiles to everyone's faces, a lot of people and our entire city, the very foundations of physical media and the things that we love, please remember, despite your political affiliations, despite all the recriminations and all the blame games that are being played and will be played for months, years, decades to come, we're all just people. And most of the people that came to Los Angeles to be involved in media or to make television or movies, they didn't come from wealthy backgrounds. They weren't scions of society. They were just people that had a dream. They're people that ran away to the goddamn circus. I was one of them. I didn't know anybody when I moved here in the entertainment business. And while I've eked out a meager living and I'm proud of the work I'm doing, I'm most proud, by the way, of True Noir that I'm doing now. A lot of the people that I've worked with, I mean, Michael Rosenbaum included, our star, had to evacuate his home. And these are just people. They are not adrenochrome drinking, Satan worshiping. I wish they were, because I'd join their club. Just saying. But these are people that are just human beings doing what they wanted to do. And some have been very successful, some have not. But we're all trying to make things that are greater than we are. And a lot of people lost a lot of things this week. And just remember, they are people. They're human beings just like you and I. And, I've worked in this entertainment business for 36 years. And the one thing that I have got from it is I've met some of the most unique, extraordinary, fantastically talented, insightful, brilliant human beings I could ever possibly hope to meet. And I met them all here in Los Angeles. And they were all people that followed a dream or had a crazy idea or something else. And against all odds, they were able to create something and make something of themselves. And I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be a part of this city. I'm proud to be a part of this community. And I'm proud that this community allowed me and drew me to someone like Dieter Bastian. And hopefully that we can all share this. And if nothing else, for all of our snark and humor, what this show does is celebrate all the people through all walks of life throughout the decades that have created the entertainment that we love. And the epicenter of most of that was Hollywood. Yep. It was this town. It was this city. It was the same. It was the epicenter of what we're dealing with right now. So if you're a fan of physical media, you're a fan of all the people that have created all the great movies and all the great works that you have experienced throughout your life, and understand that a lot of those people are here right now, and many of them have lost everything. And it's not something we should ever forget. So shout out to everybody who's ever worked in film, and all the people out there that are suffering, and all the people that have gotten together and helped everybody. And it's not just people. I did a show yesterday. I talked about it's not just the entertainment business, but I'm just focusing on that on this show because that's what we celebrate. But there are people from all walks of life. You know, every shape, size, color, creed, political affiliation, sexual orientation. Everybody who's here in this city has suffered in some way, shape, or form, or knows somebody who is. So I just wanted to end on that note.
Yeah. I think you brought it back together where we started, and we got it to a great ending point. And for me, I say, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And I'm sure this week many people have stories they didn't even know they were going to tell. All you have to do is listen. And I hope I speak for both Dieter and I. I want to thank our audience. I want to thank everybody that watches this show. And I want to thank everybody that has ever worked on any of the movies that we have purchased and bought and have spoken about on the show into our fifth year running. And we are very honored to celebrate the work of the entire history of cinema, or Tim Palin.
Or Tim Palin. So, yeah.
So, everybody, thank you for watching. We will be back next week. I want to thank Lisa Stevenson from LIONSGATE for making me a part of the launch of LIONSGATE Limited. I was honored to write some articles for them. I am especially honored to watch the incredible transfers that they've done since they've started for the Quentin Tarantino films. I want you all to go to lionsgatelimited.com. Also, Kino Lorber, also Warner Archive. They have supported this channel by sending us stuff, but there's all the other. There is Arrow. There is 88 Films. There is Vinegar Syndrome. There's all the different, I mean, I can't mention them all, but I can, but it would take me forever. Buy physical media. Support the great work these companies are doing, because we are in a golden age of getting great representations of our favorite films coming from both studios and boutique labels.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Okay, we're out.
Okay.
Thank you for
I think
allowing
Rob-
me to do a diatribe.
No,